Important update about YouTube playlists. Hey everyone. We've received many messages asking why our YouTube playlists aren't showing up. Do we create YouTube playlists? Yes, we absolutely do. So why can't you see them? Honestly, we're not sure. We've been in contact with YouTube support for several months now, but we still haven't received a clear answer or solution. After much discussion, our team has decided to take matters into our own hands. We believe the issue might be related to the number of playlists we've created on a single channel, possibly too many. Our solution? We're launching 2 additional YouTube channels, giving us a total of 3. This way, we can organize our audiobooks better and avoid the playlist visibility issue in the future. This change only affects our YouTube audience. If you're a patron supporter, you can still access all our audiobooks by visiting the collection menu on Patreon. Thanks so much for your time and continued support. Happy listening. Of course, I don't plan to give it any sort of intelligence, as that will be far too difficult for the majority of this world to deal with. Possibly even Satoru would have trouble with a special A rank enemy with intelligence. Hell, Satoru himself would probably be ranked special A rank in the cardinal world. Not an enemy that needs to be taken seriously by anyone who matters. Spatial abilities are quite common at the Demon Lord seed level and beyond after all. All someone needs to do to get past infinity is mess with space a bit. One of Carrion's subordinates, that snake girl, even has a unique skill that makes it impossible for anyone other than her to manipulate space, which is a game over for Satoru. Of course, that's not counting on what unique skills he may acquire if he is in the cardinal world. Anyways, I'll probably just end up making some golems to protect the weapon. I don't want to use any monsters born out of my magicules, as they will sort of be my children, which feels kinda weird. And I don't have a way to control how strong they will be born, or what skills they will be born with. Some of them might grow strong enough to have other monsters born of their own magicules. That sounds like a quick way to spread monsters all over this world, which will kill the majority of humans as magicules are toxic to them. I still have a little bit of time before meeting up with Satoru, so might as well hide the special grade weapons. I'll have Odin create some good riddles and maps to locate them. I quickly went all over the world and hid all 50 special grade weapons. It shouldn't be easy to find. The world is vast after all, and with only 50 to find, that's a lot of ground to cover. Now I need to create the dungeons for the rare grade and unique grade weapons, but I can do that later. I want to put some thought into the dungeon layout and stuff. Now it's about 11:30 a.m. I guess I'll just wait at the location Satoru said to meet up at. Maybe I can visit some nearby stores as well. Oh? It seems Satoru got here early. I appeared right behind him while hiding my presence. Sup? I saw his shoulders stiffen slightly before I heard him sigh. Man, is that what it's like dealing with me? Now I get why everyone hates when I do that. He turned around with a grin on his face. You got here early. I could say the same to you. Ah. Well, I could never be late for our date. I stared at him, dead in the eye. I remember he pulled some of this weird shit on Megumi before too, what with his whole violin lesson thing. Haha, yeah sure, you can call this a date between friends. Nothing can get you to react, huh? Haha, well, if you want me to react to something like that, you're going to need to try harder. After all, I was able to deal with the first Demon Lord's seduction attempts. Aha, yeah, that seems like it'll be hard to match, huh? Alright, let's get started. I got a bunch of sweets store to show you, they are just the best. We can go check out those innate techniques afterwards. I gave him a thumbs up, sounds good to me. Chapter 63, Shopping and Techniques. Satoru took me to a couple of sweet shops, each with their own specialty. Most of them were focused on candy, but some were focused on other things like cakes and other baked goods. My favorites were the dark chocolate truffle collection, along with their handcrafted chocolate. And then there was the super fancy place Satoru took me to. He apparently had to order ahead of time. Normally they require at least a month in advance, but no one tells Gojo Satoru no when it comes to sweets. He got me the luxury bouche de Noël, a French dessert that is normally served during Christmas time. It looks like a cake shaped like a log, and is decorated with a bunch of exotic ingredients from all over the world. There were cocoa beans from Madagascar, nuts from Iran, and spices from India along with some other ingredients. It costs about $650 US. And it was money well spent. This was probably the singular most delicious sweet I have ever tasted, and that's saying something as Raiden makes some good sweets. I ended up getting another order to go for Raiden and Kurumi to try. Maybe Raiden will gain a burst of inspiration. Satoru had to help me with getting another serving, seeing as the ingredients are all freshly sourced, so the place we went to needed time to get said ingredients. Satoru was able to expedite the process with all his connections. I offered to get the ingredients myself, seeing as I knew I was being unreasonable, but he declined. Truly a gentleman. I was using the intrinsic skill, Transform that I copied from Luminous to shift my facial features slightly so as to not get as much attention, probably another reason that none of the places were treating me as reverently and cautiously as they were Satoru. Of course I was still extremely attractive, I just wasn't recognizable as the guy who claimed to be a demon lord. Of course Satoru did not have the same luxury, so he was stopped for pictures and autographs. Dude became famous as hell after that live stream of his fight against Sukuna. Even if the normal humans normally aren't able to directly see Jujutsu, they could see it during this fight due to the fact the crows that were broadcasting it could see. There were also those that were shit scared, which is a reasonable reaction, but it was still funny to see. I also got some sweets from the same store that served the luxury bouche de Noël for Milim, along with some other cheaper and standard sweets for her. Of course I kept them in stomach so they stay fresh. Huh, now that was a fun trip huh? Satoru asked as he turned to look at me. I nodded, yup, those sweets were heavenly. I'll definitely have to ask Raiden to figure out how to make them. They were expensive but good. Haha, yup. Having a bunch of money is great, it lets you enjoy the finer things in life. Truly, sweets are God's gift to us mortals. All of a sudden an inquisitive look appeared on his face. Huh, are there gods out there? I wouldn't have considered such a thing before meeting you, but from all the stuff you have told me, maybe it is possible. You have no idea, I myself could be considered a god of sorts since I have divinity, along with some others from the world I came from. But I know for a fact there is at least one other world with gods out there, and I assume there are far more. Thanks to Ingvild I was able to confirm some things about DXT, like the fact that the devil race is generally the same, gods exist, same with fallen angels, and angels. Ingvild didn't know all that much seeing as all she knew was from her mother, Ingrid Leviathan, who didn't go into too much detail about the supernatural. Though Satoru is the type to be excited about such a thing, gods huh? Sounds fun. I shook my head, I knew you would say something like that. Hee, well you already know me pretty well then. Now we still have some time left in the day, so I'll introduce you to some people with some fun innate techniques. I gave him a nod. Alright, let's go then. Are we getting a ride, or are we teleporting, since I know you can do that with Blue? We'll get a ride, I already have a car coming to pick us up. Understandable, teleporting everywhere can get boring, sometimes you just want to see the land around you as you go to a destination. Alright then. It didn't take long for a limo to show up, I ignored the people staring at us and got in. Man, is being famous a pain, I'm not even the one they are focusing on and it's annoying. I looked out the window and noticed people were still taking pictures. They are taking pictures of a limo, do these people not have better things to do? It's a damn good thing I shifted my facial features. I turned to look at Satoru, who was sitting across from me. So who are we visiting, and what techniques do they have? The first person is Takako Yoro, who has an innate technique that lets her manipulate the sky. She can use it for all sorts of purposes like flying, affecting space, along with using the sky to attack. Manipulating the sky sounds interesting. Wait, shouldn't I be able to create a vessel for these incarnations to inhabit? All I need to do is create a body since the souls are already present. They did basically just steal the lives of their vessels. I might be an indifferent person, but if I can help someone at no cost and without having to try, then why not? I brought up my idea to Satoru, who seemed interested. Satoru brought up the idea to do it without warning, as some of the incarnations may be more resistant to the idea due to there not being much trust established between both parties. It didn't take us long to arrive. It seems this sorcerer lives in an apartment. It's likely what she was given. Before we went into the apartment that Satoru brought us to, he stopped and said, "Don't take anything she says too personally. She has a serious temper, and doesn't like it when strong people try to tell her what to do. She sees it as them trying to stifle her potential." I gave him a nod. I sensed a possessed vessel similar to those guys I met when I first came to this world. It seems she is also an incarnation of someone from the past. What do you plan to do with those who have been incarnated in the current era? I asked. We haven't totally decided. There are those that wish to stick around, and trying to forcefully get rid of them isn't going to go well since they aren't going to go out without a fight. While I can beat them, they may cause some damage to the world around them. Since they aren't going around killing people and making the world a worse place in general, I don't see a reason to forcefully get rid of them. Most of them are even cooperating with us current era sorcerers. They want to see how the world has changed, and how it will change with sorcery coming back into the open. That's fair. Satoru knocked on the door. It didn't take long for us to be greeted by a pink-haired woman. She even has pink eyes. Humphrey, took you long enough. So he did call ahead of time, that's good. Haha, sorry about that, Yoro-chan. Don't call me that. Will do, Yoro-chan. She sighed. There is no winning with you. She looked behind Satoru, where I am standing. And who might you be? Gojo said he was bringing a guest but never said who. I gave her a wave. I'm a friend of Satoru's. I heard about her innate technique and was interested in observing it. It'll be easier if she doesn't know who I am. Who knows how she may react? She may not care, or she may want to fight, or maybe something else. You never know with these jujutsu sorcerers. I see, my technique is pretty amazing, so your curiosity is understandable. She looked back at Satoru. At least someone can recognize that. Why does it matter how interesting your technique is when you're weak? I could see her grit her teeth, but she took a deep breath and seemed to have calmed down. You're lucky. I've been trying to rein in my temper. Fitting in with modern society is more difficult than I thought. She may not realize it, but Satoru bringing me here is a compliment on its own. After all, he is only showing me innate techniques that he finds interesting. Though of course Satoru would never say that himself, he is too much of a troll for that. She stretched as she came outside. Alright, let's get this over with. I wonder how Satoru even got her to demonstrate her technique. She doesn't seem to be the type that would do such a thing for no reason. I found somewhere good for this demonstration. It's pretty out of the way as well. Lead the way then, said Satoru. It didn't take us long to get to a forest that was quite close to the apartment complex. Once we were far enough along, Yuro turned to look at us. Alright, one of you two put up a curtain, just in case. Satoru made the hand sign and lowered the curtain in moments. Alright, let me explain my technique first. Sky manipulation, as it sounds, basically grants me the ability to manipulate the sky by turning it into a surface I can touch. I can use it to fly, or I can bend the sky itself and attack others with it. I tend to usually turn the sky into a cloth-like structure due to the ease at which I can manipulate it. She turned around and showed us an example. She sort of grabbed the sky itself, and the sky followed her movements like a cloth would. I can use this to bend enemies' attacks away. This kind of ability has quite a bit of potential. She is probably only limited by the amount of cursed energy she possesses. I can even use sky manipulation to turn the sky into a glass-like substance, and then crack it, causing a massive shockwave, though I won't show it off here for obvious reasons. She stopped manipulating the sky and turned to look at Satoru. That's enough, right? Satoru turned to look at me. Was that enough, Odin? Answer. Yes, sufficient data was gathered. I gave him a thumbs up, causing Yuro to relax a bit. The agreement is fulfilled now, correct? You'll let me do what I wish as long as I don't harm Jujutsu Society's interests, and don't harm innocent people? Yup, as long as you follow the rules that were set, I won't come after you. Though there is a slight change. Yikes, so she was on Satoru's hit list, huh? That must not be a fun feeling, knowing that the strongest Jujutsu sorcerer is after you. She must have been one of the more wild participants of the culling games then. Yuro tensed up hearing the latter part of Satoru's statement. I of course took this as the cue to do my thing. I appeared behind Yuro and tore her soul out of the vessel body and consumed it with Beelzebub. Of course I don't plan on destroying the soul. I just inserted it into the physical body I made with material creation. Material creation might not be able to create life, but it can create anything with matter, which includes a physical body. Once Yuro's soul was no longer in the host's body, Satoru picked the host up and began carrying her towards the car. The host was unconscious, which is understandable. I followed Satoru to the vehicle. Once he was done, Satoru looked at me and nodded. I ejected Yuro out of my stomach. The moment I did, cursed energy began radiating off of her in waves. She looked different due to Odin scanning the information in her soul for her original appearance. Of course the energy Yuro was releasing was nothing compared to the cursed energy Satoru released in turn. Now Yuro-chan, we just wanted to free your poor little host body. Don't overreact so much. Satoru chided. Yuro still looked furious. You couldn't have warned me in advance? Satoru shrugged uncaringly. Maybe we could have, but this is easier. I was wondering if they were going to come to blows before Yuro reined in her cursed energy, likely knowing without a doubt that she was outmatched by Satoru alone. Gah. I hate people like you, but there is nothing I can do about it now. Fine, but don't expect me to forget this. I rolled my eyes, as if her remembering this would mean anything. Yes, thank you for understanding, Yuro-chan. Satoru said. Yuro gave a short grunt before flying away. Guess she doesn't care much if anyone sees her anymore, huh? I looked at Satoru. Thanks for getting her to show her technique. He waved me off. No problem, you've done a lot for me, so I'm repaying that. Plus, didn't you want the tension treatment? This is what it looks like. Now let's head to the next destination. I nodded. The two of us got back into the limo. Do you mind if we drop the body off at Shoko's so she can take a look first? That's fine with me, but we are probably going to have the same situation happen multiple times today, so I can just store her somewhere where her condition will be stable, and then at the end of the day you can drop her off. Satoru nodded. That's fine with me. I put my hand on the body and consumed her with Beelzebub, safely storing her in my stomach. Once that was done, Satoru said, "Next up is the angel. Her technique is the reason I was even able to get out of my seal. It's called technique extinguishment. As the name says, it basically negates all techniques, barriers, cursed objects, anything you can think of that uses cursed energy basically." That sounds kind of busted for this world, not going to lie. It sounds quite similar to an anti-magic area, something that would fuck a lot of people over in other worlds that don't have other methods of attack. Of course, this technique is limited by the fact that it only works on things that use cursed energy. She agreed to demonstrate her technique at no cost since you dealt with Sukuna for her, along with saving the person her host cares most for. Ah, look at that, good deeds are rewarded. Still, it seems she has a pretty good relationship with her host body. Is this a Kurama and Naruto situation? Except, the angel seems to be far weaker than Kurama, at least when it comes to raw power. But it's the same thing in spirit. Since she has a good relationship with her host, there probably isn't a reason to force her into a new body, but asking won't hurt anybody. It didn't take us long to arrive. Instead of an apartment, we are now at a beautiful house. This chick must be doing pretty well for herself, huh? Though she might have gotten the money to buy this from killing curses, Jujutsu sorcerers do make a pretty penny after all, they just don't have the time to use said money. The angel, or as Satoru introduced earlier, Hanakurasu, was waiting for us outside. We got out of the vehicle just as Kurisu greeted us. "Welcome to my home," she said with a bow. Seriously, these Japanese customs can be super bothersome at times. "Thanks for having us. There is no need to bow, Kurisu-chan. After all, if your plan succeeds, I'll technically be your father-in-law, won't I?" "What plan?" "And Satoru is technically Megumi's adopted father, isn't he? And since this chick is after Megumi, if they end up together, Satoru will be her father-in-law." Satoru sounds like a fun relative to have. Still, who knew there would be some drama in a world like this? Kurisu turned to look at Satoru. "Indeed, you are correct. I will not be as formal then." She then turned to look at me and bowed. "I know I have said it before, but thank you for freeing my beloved Megumi from Sukuna's clutches." "Haha, no need to worry about that. Megumi is a good kid, and I got to have a little bit of fun during that fight as well." A weird mouth formed on the side of her cheek. That must be the angel. "Indeed, thank you for dealing with the fallen for me. It would have been quite difficult if Gojo-san was defeated, but you solved that issue on your own. It's probably best that she doesn't learn that I plan to repurpose Sukuna. He will be my very own Diablo. A butler who does everything I ask, That sounds like a good punishment for him, though going by what Odin said, it won't be a punishment for him. He will be just as loyal as Diablo, and even though he will keep his memories, and generally know his very being has been altered, he will not care due to his loyalty to me being so ingrained within his very soul. He might as well be a different person, just with the same looks and access to the previous Sukuna's memories. That won't change even if he evolves." "Moving past that, you agreed to show me your technique, right?" The angel responded. "That is correct. That is the least I owe you." I nodded. "So where do you want to do this?" "I assume we aren't going to do this on your lawn." "Indeed, that would attract unneeded attention. Even if the normal humans cannot visually see sorcery, it is best to be on the safe side with everything that I have learned is going on in this era." "You're probably right. Besides, we don't want to mess up your host's life if someone figures something out." "That is correct. Well, I have a solution to that. Seeing as it seems like you don't have anywhere to conceal us, I can create a barrier around us that conceals everything, similar to a curtain, but better. If you believe it will be sufficient, then I have no issues with that." Once we were at a good spot, I snapped my fingers and used isolate around us, and then put an illusion on the outside that showed everything as normal. "Alright, now that's done." "That's the ability you used around the Jujutsu schools, right?" I turned to Satoru and nodded. "Quite an interesting barrier," said the angel with Kurisu nodding along. Kurisu took the lead and said, "Now in order to demonstrate my technique at its best, I need something to negate. It doesn't matter what it is." I noticed Satoru take something out of his back pocket and unwrapped it. "I see, he brought it for this meeting specifically. I thought Satoru started using a weapon recently and that's why he was carrying it." "This is a sealed special grade cursed object that was being used to ward off other cursed spirits." "Will this work?" "Yes, that will work fine." She then went ahead and touched it, and the next thing I knew, there was an incredibly bright light shining. The light took the shape of a cross and rained down into the cursed object Satoru brought with him. Soon enough the light died down and I could no longer sense any sort of cursed energy from the object Satoru brought with him. "You analyzed that, Odin?" Answer: yes. Sufficient data has been gathered. Great, nice work. I noticed both Satoru and Kurisu staring at me. That was enough, thank you for that, Kurisu. It was no problem, Felix-sama. Satoru was the one who brought up the whole new body thing, and Angel agreed. She said that if other incarnations would be allowed to roam in this era, she would stay around to keep them in check. That would be easier with a body of her own. Along with that, having a body of her own will stop her from messing up Kurasu's personal life. Satoru said there was no need for that, but she was adamant. Are you sure about this, Angel? Asked Kurasu. Indeed, I'm child. It is best if I don't interfere with your life any more than I already have. Just being involved in this world is a curse for most. Kurasu seemed sad, but she reluctantly went along. I placed my hand on Kurasu's back and yanked the angel out of her. Once she was in my stomach, I repeated the earlier process and ejected her from my stomach. Astonishing, to have a body of my own after so long is an odd feeling, said the angel. I'm sure it is, said Satoru. Thank you for this, Lord Felix, said the angel. It's no problem, I responded. I'll contact you later to get you an identity. For now you can just stick around here. I'll pick you up later, said Satoru. Very well, responded the angel. Since we were all done, I dispelled the barrier and illusion around us. I looked towards Satoru. You have anything you want to do here? Nah, though I did want to say something to Kurasu-chan. Megumi is in a depression phase, so this is the ideal time to make a positive impression, he said with a thumbs up. Yes. Well, at least Kurasu looks determined. Good luck with that. Once we were back in the vehicle, I decided to ask Satoru something that I've been meaning to. Hey Satoru. Could you get me a minigun and a custom Desert Eagle? The expression on Satoru's face was quite amusing. A minigun? I nodded. A minigun, but don't forget about the Desert Eagle. That's an odd request. Man, for something to catch Satoru off guard, I guess it is kind of weird. Not many people casually ask for a minigun after all. Asking for a Desert Eagle isn't standard either, but the minigun was definitely what stood out the most. And why do you need a minigun? Oh, I want to gift it to one of my subordinates back home. That's an odd choice for a gift. It is, but I have a feeling she'll like it. He shook his head exasperatedly. You have some strange subordinates. But yes, I can get you a minigun and a fully customized Desert Eagle. Hell, you could probably get it yourself. Just go to any government official and ask. Once they realize your identity, they would be more than willing. Ah, I didn't think of that, but that sounds like too much trouble. Well, you're right on that. They would probably try and keep you here, or win a favor from you. I sighed. Yup, that's what I expected. You're a hot commodity, you know. Ever since other nations saw that live stream of my mice, they've been incredibly interested in you, Sukuna and I. The amount of destruction they saw Sukuna and I bring to bear is something that puts them on edge. I nodded. Yup, I expected no different. Man, my mice live stream is causing some problems, huh? Well, at least it isn't my problem to deal with. If it was, I would have had my Mai purged for being a pain in the ass. Ah, I might as well bring up the old man, and his long-term stay in this world up now. Satoru might be able to help get everything set up, like getting the old man an identity, a place to live. Hell, maybe the old man will be willing to work for money. There's something else as well. He sat up. Oh? From the tone of your voice, this seems important. Indeed, I brought someone from the cardinal world over here. He can be considered a mentor of sorts of mine, and he is planning to stay here for the foreseeable future. I want to get him an identity, and everything he might need to live here for a while. I don't mention the main reason is that I want the old man to make sure that the changes I make don't fuck the world up beyond repair. I'll explain that part after I make my announcement. After all, I want it to be a surprise for everyone, Satoru included. He may or may not be interested in killing curses, but for the most part he is looking to relax, but if something goes wrong he should be willing to help. So you can consider him a backup plan if you have to. I don't think the old man will mind that, but I'll double check with him when he's done adapting to the body I made him. A backup plan, huh? How strong is he? In this world's terms he would classify as special grade, that's for sure. In a fight between you and him, he would win almost every time. An excited grin appeared on Satoru's face. You said almost every time, right? That means it's possible for me to beat him then? Normally I would say no, but Satoru is a genius in his own right. He may learn an incredible amount from a spar with the old man, so theoretically it should be possible, but incredibly difficult. After all, the old man has no ultimate skills or anything that is considered equal to an ultimate skill, and he's only an archdemon, someone strong, but ultimately beatable by groups of humans back in the cardinal world. It's possible, just incredibly difficult. Haha. And you said he plans to stay here, right? That's correct. Great. I can have a sparring partner to catch up to then. Man, he must really be looking for equals, or someone that can push him. Satoru has hit a wall that he can't get over until he has an obstacle that he has to work to beat. I won't work for that as he has no realistic way to defeat me. The old man, however. Well, let's just say I look forward to his growth. I can get him everything he needs to live in this world, be that an identity, work if he wants it, or a place to stay. It doesn't surprise me that Satoru is being so accommodating. The old man is a resource after all. I should probably tell him that the old man is a demon. I forgot to mention it, but the person who is going to be staying here is a demon, an archdemon specifically. An archdemon? Didn't you say those had enough raw power to destroy a country? Yup. It is said that special grade sorcerers are capable of taking over a country, and that may be true. But destroying a country, and taking it over are completely different things. Haha, I guess I got my work cut out for me, huh? Good luck, Satoru. At least I got that over with. Now for more cursed techniques. I waved Satoru goodbye as I teleported back to the house we were all staying at. Satoru had a few more innate techniques to show me, all of which were interesting in their own ways. One of which was the comedian, Takaba himself, as Satoru didn't know that I had already analyzed his ability. One thing he did say though was not to mention Takaba's technique to him. The angel theorized that his technique best works when he doesn't know it's doing his thing. It works best when he naturally thinks he is funny, so Satoru had him do a sort of show for us where I got to see his abilities up close. They are as bullshit as they sound. He can straight up change reality as he pleases as long as he thinks the result is funny. Fucking hacks, though I'm one to talk. I also went and analyzed Hogen Umaki's technique. I doubt it'll see use, but it's still cool. Then there was Kenji Hikari. He had an odd technique, and an even more odd personality. He kept going on and on about my fever. I'm not exactly sure if he was sane in the head, but then again everyone who reaches the top is insane in their own way. His technique is primarily applied through domain expansion. It summons a gambling game of some kind. The primary goal is to line up 3 of the same numbers, a 1/239 possibility. If he does land the jackpot, then grants him unlimited cursed energy for 4 minutes and 11 seconds. The unlimited cursed energy allows him to use reverse cursed energy on instinct, basically making him unkillable in this world for those 4 minutes. An odd technique, but one that can allow him to fight at the higher end of this world should the conditions line up. Speaking about domain expansion, when I asked if Odin could use the data she had gathered on multiple domain expansions to bring out my own, she said she couldn't. According to Odin, a domain expansion is basically a mental landscape that embodies the mind of who they are born with, except it is expanded into reality. The mental landscape serves as the foundation for innate techniques. Unfortunately, I do not possess said mental landscape, as I died, and reincarnated as a demon. I am no longer a being that can be considered born from this world. The laws of this world no longer bind me, and so I do not have a mental landscape. That is something intrinsic to people born in the world, whether they are sorcerers, normal humans of this world, or cursed spirits. I am neither of those, and my mental landscape did not transfer over to my new life. Sure, I may have had one before, but Odin has no way to figure that out. I was kind of bummed out after hearing that. After all, who doesn't want a domain expansion? Odin tried to cheer me up by offering to recreate the domains I had already analyzed as skills, but I refused, seeing as I don't really need them. I just thought it would be fun to see what my own domain would be. Truly an unfortunate day. And the second to last person Satoru planned to introduce me to was that lightning guy, Hajime Kashimo, but he ended up canceling that as I agreed to invite Hajime to the place we are staying at since Kurami agreed to spar with him. Something about testing some of her new techniques out. The last one was the lawyer guy, Hirumi Higorama. His technique was special in that it was primarily applied through domain expansion. Satoru had Higorama use his domain on some criminal while I observed. The domain is basically a small courtroom in which Higorama is the prosecutor and the criminal was the defendant. Instead of having a sure-hit attack, Higorama's domain forces a few rules onto everyone in the domain. The domain allows Higorama to persecute the defendant with a shikigami called judgment. No violence is allowed. The trial starts with the judgment announcing the charges the defendant is being labeled with. The judgment by default already knows everything about everyone inside the domain. Of course, this excluded me as I didn't have any cursed energy at the time. The verdict of the trial depends only on the arguments presented by both sides. After the accusation is reviewed, the defendant is given one chance to defend their case. They have 3 options: silence, confession, or denial. If the defendant chooses to deny the charges, they can lie in their statements. The defendant's goal is to dispel all doubt and win a pronouncement of innocence from judgment. Higorama only has one chance to make his statement. There was some more stuff, but basically once both parties have made their statements, the judgment will make a lawful verdict. If the defendant is found guilty, they are punished with one of what is implied to be several different sentences. Not even Higorama knows what options there are. One sentence the judgment will commonly give is confiscation, which prevents them from being able to use cursed techniques. After the verdict, The domain dispels and the punishment immediately affects the guilty party. This is honestly the perfect skill for a ruler. I might have Odin use the data from this along with some other skills to create a useful skill for me. I may be a mostly hands-off ruler, but it could still be useful. We also went ahead and met every still living incarnation except for Hajime so that I could give them all new bodies and free their hosts. I opened the door to my home. I sensed both Raiden and Kurumi were home, so I called out, "I'm home." Raiden appeared in front of me in a moment. "Welcome back, Master." Kurumi wasn't much further behind. She appeared behind Raiden in her fox form and jumped towards me, causing me to catch her. I smiled at Raiden. "Thanks for the greetings, you two." Kurumi licked my face while Raiden said what I expected her to. "It is my duty, Master." Yes, I know." As I was walking in, Raiden said, "I was not sure if you would arrive in time for dinner, so I prepared a relatively simple dish. I hope you are not upset by that, Master." "Nah, everything you make is good, plus you don't have to make fancy food every meal. Sometimes people just want to eat some more homey and comforting food." "I see, I will keep that in mind, Master." "Ah. I ordered some candy that I want you two to try. Ecchi will go to pick it up tomorrow." Raiden looked interested. "For it to have caught your attention, it must be something special." "Yup, it was delicious. Maybe you can gain some inspiration when you try it." "I will do my best, Master." I raised my hand and gave her a head pat. "I know you will, my maid." I ignored the happily smiling Raiden and looked towards Kurumi, who was now on my shoulder. "So what have you been up to today?" Kurumi jumped off my shoulder and transformed into her humanoid form. "Ah, I did not do much, Master, just browse the internet while waiting for you to come back." "I see, I'll try and find something for you to do if you're bored." She shook her head. "No, I enjoy this time. I can relax and watch amusing things on the internet, a perfect vacation." She is being infected by modern society more than I thought. "Ha. Well, don't get too used to it. We don't have phones or the internet back in the cardinal world after all." "I know, Master, that is why I am using it while I am able to." I nodded. "Oh, Master, the assistant, Ecchi dropped some stuff off for you earlier." I turned to where the voice came from. "Ah, that's great, thanks, Raiden. I had the items placed in your room." I gave Raiden a nod. "I'm going to go check those out then." Raiden gave me a curtsy. "Yes, Master. Food will be ready soon." "All right, call me when it's ready. And I will be talking to Raiden about something," said Kurumi. Raiden looked at Kurumi questioningly, but accepted. So I left them to do their own things. They don't need me to monitor them after all. Now let's check out what goodies Ecchi got for me. I wasn't surprised that a section of my room was completely filled up. There was all the things Rimuru wanted, like rice, soybeans and a sample of the sauce, and a bunch of other good stuff. There were multiples of each item too. And then there was the stuff I asked for. There were a bunch of gun cases, along with a bunch of alcohol that I asked for, varying from beer, wine, vodka, gin, brandy, whiskey, etc. Basically whatever Ecchi could get his hands on. I also had Ecchi get me a Nintendo Switch to play on while I'm here, one that comes with Smash. I'm sure I'll have fun playing this with Raiden and Kurumi. I should probably store everything except the guns in my stomach so nothing goes bad. Notice. It is recommended that the Master stores the weapons in stomach as well so Odin can get a detailed analysis of the items in case the Master wishes to recreate the weapons. Ah, you're right, good idea, Odin. I stored everything in my stomach, and took some of the guns back out once Odin was finished with her analysis. I could feel a grin creeping up on my face as I considered all the possible enchantments I could put on these guns. Guns that can cut through space, guns that blow shit up, guns that freeze shit, so many fun possibilities. I don't plan to freely distribute these to my army or anything though. After all, it would be inevitable that other countries will eventually get their hands on these guns, and recreate them. Which will lead to an entirely new type of warfare in the cardinal world. There is a reason not many people have it back in the cardinal world, it's kept restricted. Still, it will be fun to mess around with these. I can already imagine Megaman would love a mini gun with bullets that blow shit up. Glenda also seemed to love her gun quite a bit. It's probably best if I don't test out any of the enchantments I plan to put on these guns indoors, so I pick up a handgun and store the rest of the guns in my stomach. I'm not exactly sure which type, seeing as I wasn't a big gun guy. I can easily operate the gun since I have a detailed analysis of them, so I don't need to worry about not knowing how to use it. I teleport to the backyard and place a barrier around me. For starters, why don't I enchant it to fire bullets that burn everything? First, I need to make it so that this gun can fire magicule bullets, which is easy enough since I already have the analysis of Glenda's gun which was able to do that, so all I need to do is copy that function onto this, and Odin does the rest. Now that that's done, let me enchant it. And there we go. I have perfect aim thanks to my own high perception and Odin's ability to calculate all the air pressure, wind, gravity, etc. 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 on top of that, so I don't need to worry about missing. I use material creation to create a wooden target and fire one bullet which hits the bullseye. I watch as the target is immediately engulfed in flames. Nice, so that works quite well. It isn't really capable of harming anyone strong since I didn't put a very high level enchantment on it, but it is still fun to play around with. Now that I know my enchantments work on these guns, I can store them and work on them back in the cardinal world. Maybe I'll give some to Kurobe. That dude is a prodigy at blacksmithing. I'm sure he can create something nice. Rimuru said that Kurobe was on the verge of creating a legend-grade weapon from scratch, something almost unheard of. Naturally made weapons are superior to weapons created with material creation, so that is extremely impressive. My own weapon was able to reach the legend grade only due to being formed from my previous vessel, making it an extremely tough and high-tier material. And it reached god grade through Stardust, and Stardust is bullshit. Master, dinner is ready. I see, I'll be there soon. It seems I have to wrap this up. Gaha. Get fucked, Yuji. Game. Gah. Why don't you play a different character for once? Never. Donkey Kong is supreme. Yuji sighed. Whatever you say, Felix-sama. I've given up on getting him to call me without any honorifics. It seems Raiden has traumatized basically everyone that was in that room when we first showed up in this world. I don't really get why either. Sure, she is strong, but she is also a lovable maid. I shook my head. Oh well, they're the ones missing out. It's been a day since my adventure with Satoru. After dinner last night I ended up playing around with the guns for a little while before going to bed. I invited Yuji over to play Smash like we agreed to earlier the next day, and we've been at it since he came over. Alright, that's enough of Smash. We've been playing for an hour and a half now. So you wanted me to heal Todo's arm, right? He mentioned that when he first came here, apparently Satoru told him to be direct with me, and not beat around the bush. Good advice. I don't like dealing with all that bothersome stuff. Yes. He was hit by Mahido's idol transfiguration, but thankfully he only lost his arm. But since it was his soul that was modified, the reverse curse technique can't help him, or I would have tried my best to heal him myself. I see. Wait, hold on. You said you would attempt to heal him? Do you know reverse curse technique? Oh yeah, I learned it during the 1-month ceasefire that Sensei had with Sukuna. What the fuck? Yuji looked nervous. Now I do want to help him, but I don't want to do it for free. We might get along, but I don't really see him as a friend. Along with that, no one appreciates what is given to them at no cost to themselves. It will eventually get into their head that they can keep coming to me for help if I keep doing them favors for free. Even the help Satoru has given me has been exchanged for. I replaced the barriers keeping the schools safe. I am going to make it so the birth rates of Jujutsu sorcerers go back to normal. At least they will be normal in a way, seeing as more sorcerers will be born worldwide. Hell, they even gained a backup plan in the old man due to me. Then I healed his student, Nobara, so as far as I'm concerned we're even. But I don't think there is much Yuji can offer me. Aha. I'm not sure what exact role the old man plans to take up in this world, whether he wants to be a public figure, a hidden figure, or whatever, but either way what I'm about to ask Yuji should prove useful to the old man. On one condition. Yuji looked determined. I will do whatever it takes, Felix-sama. It's nothing that serious. You see, I have a friend that is planning on staying in this world, and he might need help with a few things, whether that is killing cursed spirits, finding information, moving into a house, basically anything. I want you to help him with whatever he needs for 10 years as long as it doesn't interfere with your duties as a Jujutsu sorcerer. I can promise you he won't ask you to do anything that goes against your moral code. I remember Yuji had a rather strict moral code. He wanted to save everyone he could. You'll basically be his subordinate in all but name for a decade. After that time period it is up to you two to continue your contract or not. 10 years should be enough for the old man to gain contacts of his own that he can utilize for whatever he needs. He is strong for this world after all, and people flock to the strong for protection, or other needs. I can do that. At least Yuji was happy with the deal. There might even be a chance that the old man doesn't even need to make use of Yuji. I just thought having Yuji to rely on might be helpful. There are likely a ton of things he doesn't understand about modern society, seeing as he died only when technology was starting to become a big thing. And he doesn't have a supercomputer in his head like Cursed Sage to help him figure things out. Alright, let's go get him fixed up. I want to get this done with. Yes. Let me text him and ask him where he is. I nodded. If I remember correctly, Aoi Todo is a first-grade sorcerer. Even though he is still only a student at Kyoto Jujutsu High School, he is a third-year student, but still quite incredible. He was apparently trained by another special grade sorcerer who is dead now, Yuki Tsukumo. From what Satoru told me, her technique is one I would have loved to analyze and gather data on. It's a shame she's dead now, and I can't bring her back as her soul has already passed on. Her technique allows her to grant virtual mass to herself, and her Shikigami. That basically means she can assign a certain amount of mass to herself, or her Shikigami, and her attacks will be bolstered by that amount of mass. The added mass doesn't weigh her down either. Oh well, it is what it is. Aoi Todo's technique isn't as grand as Yuki Tsukumo's, but it is quite practical. It allows him to switch the places of anything with cursed energy as long as it is within range. There is another requirement though, he must activate this ability with a clap. He said he is at the Kyoto school. Felix-sama. The Kyoto school, huh? Alright, I can teleport us there. Grab my shoulder. Once Yuji grabbed me, I teleported us to the Kyoto school, completely bypassing the barriers. Yuji seemed to be a bit disoriented, but teleporting can do that to someone if they aren't used to it. He wobbled for a moment before quickly recovering. He is at the training ground. Follow me. I could sense Todo training, but I let Yuji have his moment. So losing an arm permanently didn't stop this guy from wanting to get stronger, huh? These Jujutsu sorcerers can be an insane group of people. As we were heading to the training ground, I noticed a group of sorcerers spotted us, and quickly paled before running away. Probably to inform the headmaster. Once we arrived at the training ground, I wasn't surprised to see a shirtless Todo practicing his martial arts, likely adjusting it for one-handed combat. He's going to have a tough time regaining his former strength with his technique being far more restricted, where before he could clap his own hands together, now he needs to clap hand with someone else in order to activate his technique. Todo noticed us almost immediately. I noticed his expression shift slightly upon seeing me, but he ignored me to focus on Yuji. My brother. Todo. Todo started to approach us. What are you doing here, brother? Ah. I found a fix for your arm, Todo. This here is Felix-sama. I'm sure you've heard of him by now. Ah. The so-called strongest man, huh? The strongest man? I don't remember being called that, though it is true, at least in this world. I don't remember receiving such a title, but it isn't wrong. He stopped right in front of me. Hey, Felix, was it? What kind of woman is your type? Ah. I remember he asked Megumi the same thing. I think he gets people's personalities based on their response? I'm not really sure. Might as well answer honestly though, I lose nothing. What kind of woman is my type, huh? I would say I like a woman with a nice curvy ass, and big tits. I'm fine with short stacks, or tall types to be honest. I think that is a pretty honest answer. Haha, excellent answer. My type is a tall woman with a big ass. He then pointed directly at me. We can't be best friends, but you are now my friend. Huh? Alright then. I'm not really sure what I'm supposed to say to that. I won't take it seriously anyway. Yuji chose this moment to interrupt. It's good that you two are getting along, but I brought Felix-sama here because he said he can heal your arm. He already healed Kujaizaki, whom Hito injured far worse than you, Todo. Healing my arm, huh? Well, alright then. I trust you, my brother. Yuji then turned to look at me, so I took that as the signal to work my magic. His injury is the same as Nobara's, if to a lesser extent than hers was. But his soul has still been molded. In order to fix that, I need to cast Resurrection. Thankfully the target doesn't need to be in a near-death state to cast this. Alright, stand still, Todo. Yes, my friend. I raised my palm in his direction, Resurrection. And then right in front of our eyes his lost arm was restored, and his soul returned back to its natural state. Todo's eyebrows raised in surprise. I did not doubt you too, but to see it in front of my very eyes is astonishing. Haha. Thanks, Felix-sama. I'll hold to my end of the deal. You don't need to worry about your friend since Yuji Itadori is on his case. Mahaha. I shall help you in whatever bargain you struck with my newest friend Yuji. It is only natural as brothers. Todo. Brother. Okay, that's enough of that for me. I don't want to see anything disturbing. Worst case scenario, they may pull off a Rocklian Meidoge sunset effect, and that would be horrifying. I teleport back to the living room and am shocked to see both Raiden and Kurumi playing Smash. They truly have become cultured. Raiden is playing Pikachu, and Kurumi is Greninja the little troll. Ah. Master, I'm sorry. The game just looked incredibly interesting and then Kurumi challenged me. Ha. Lighten up, Raiden. Master doesn't mind, does he? Haha, no, it's fine. Enjoy yourselves, you two, and once you're good enough I will show you your place with the glorious Donkey Kong. It is improper for a maid master. I shook my head. Then consider this your day off. Have fun, enjoy your life. Your entire life shouldn't be about serving me, you gotta enjoy life a bit too. Raiden sighed. If that is your order then I shall fulfill it, master. Consider it one then. That girl seriously needs to take a break sometimes. Chapter 64, Agreement. It's been a day since I returned from healing Toto, only to discover Raiden and Kurumi playing Smash. Right now I'm working on creating dungeons all throughout the world, each of varying difficulties based on what reward lies inside. I just finished up with the rare dungeons, of which there are 20 around the world, each housing a rare grade weapon. The dungeons are inhabited with all sorts of enemies and traps. I made some golems out of some trash tier ore from the Cardinal world and am having them defend a dungeon. Death is a very real possibility in these dungeons as I don't have Ranmarie's cheat skill Small World, which basically grants her complete control over anything in her domain. Basically she can make respawn points if she so wished. I can't. The data Odin has gathered on Small World is nowhere near enough for that. So if you die in a dungeon, you're gone for good. Not to mention that the dungeons are quite difficult to find. I left some maps lying in some pawn shops, and for the others I had Odin come up with riddles and poems that could lead to the location of the dungeons. Now for the unique grade weapons, I want the dungeons to be super difficult, but not impossible. They do get unique grade weapons at the end of it after all. I can probably use more magic traps in these dungeons. For the rare grade dungeons I only had relatively common traps like poison darts, flaming hallways, pitfall traps, basically the super common stuff. But for the unique grade dungeon maybe I could use some magic, like maybe increase the gravity little by little as the challengers get closer to the weapon. I can also make the dungeon have different environments, one where it is freezing cold, and another where it is burning hot. I can place some illusions to confuse people as well. Maybe I can create illusions of some monsters from the Cardinal world to scare off the weaker challengers. I can keep all of the magics I leave around powered with an energy crystal, similar to what I am going to use to maintain the barriers I leave in this world. I think that is sufficiently challenging. I only need to make 2 dungeons as I am going to leave the Frost unique grade weapon with the old man to pass on to someone. So I only need to seal the gravity, and curse unique grade weapons. Maybe I can have the increased gravity dungeon be where the gravity unique grade is sealed, and I can even have the weapon be what is maintaining the increased gravity so that whenever it finds a wielder the gravity will go back to normal. Then for the curse unique grade I can have the dungeon give you a ton of debuffs upon entering the dungeon, like exhaustion, more sweating, minor headaches, sore body, loss of strength over time. These dungeons are going to be downright diabolical. Now where should I construct these 2 dungeons? Maybe I can have one located in Japan, in Shibuya specifically, as it is basically dead land at this point. The amount of cursed energy that is perfuming the air of Shibuya isn't safe for any work to be done in, so it is just being left to rot, and I don't blame the government. I can place the cursed dungeon in Shibuya, it just suits it. For the gravity dungeon maybe I can place it in a separate dimension and have specific stones that can be used as keys to teleport into the dungeon. I can have the stones locked into the spatial coordinates of the dimension so it will basically teleport whoever says a key phrase or something into the dungeon. And there will be a limited amount of stones, so if they are all used up, then the gravity unique weapon is gone for good. I do need to find somewhere to connect the dimension to this world though. I mean, I could manually connect the dimension to this world, but that's extra work. Maybe I can connect it to the house I'm staying at? But who knows what will happen once I leave this world. Someone might just stumble upon the entrance to another dimension and get one shot by the enemy's places there. I guess I'll have to connect it to this world manually. Thankfully the only magicule cost will be the initial cost of creating the dimension. After that it doesn't need a continuous stream of magicules to maintain itself. Odin, when I create the dimension can you fill it with everything necessary? Answer. Yes. Great, thanks. Well, might as well get this over with. Ouroboros. And with that I find myself in an entirely new dimension, one filled with oxygen, and everything that is necessary to be able to sustain a human temporarily. The dimension is the dungeon itself, so there is nothing on the outside of the dungeon. Odin already set basically everything up. She made the dimension livable, along with placing various traps she was able to pick out from my memories. Now all that I have to do is place the weapon at the end of the dungeon, and weave some magic together to finish everything up. Truly, my work never ends. Ah, home sweet home. I've been out almost all day today. I hid all the weapons, made some dungeons, created an entirely new dimension, and then I went and bought all the gifts for everyone back in the Cardinal world. I got Veldora some Dragon Ball Z figurines, those cost a pretty penny. I bought Arcuaid a super fancy dress. I'm not exactly sure about the specifics seeing as I don't know all that much about women's clothing, but it's a ruby plus 1 shoulder midi dress. Hopefully Arcuaid likes it. I plan to give Megaman an enchanted minigun. I already have the sweets for Milim, and then I got a bunch of gems for Rimuru. I think he will appreciate it. Quite a few of them are focused on elves. Lalatina along with Siko's present still needs some time to get ready, so I'm still waiting on that. I still can't believe I actually went through with Lalatina's gift. Oh well, I think she'll be happy, And I do care for Lalatina, so it's not that big of a deal. Any normal male will begin to care for whoever they're sleeping with, and Lalatina is an eager little thing, always willing to do whatever I tell her, no matter how degrading or disrespectful it is to her as a primordial. In fact, she gets overjoyed when I tell her to do those kinds of things. Any male with a sex drive would eventually grow to care for their self-proclaimed masochistic love slave. I am speaking pure facts. I went to a music store and bought every piece of sheet music they had as well as the lyrics of every song they sold. It's safe to say I got a massive collection for Ingvold. I have all the gifts safely stored in stomach, so I don't need to worry about those. After getting everyone's gifts, I went to my mother's grave. It wasn't difficult to find, as her grave obviously wouldn't be moved. It wasn't located in Shibuya either, so it wasn't destroyed by Sukuna. I ended up staying there for a little bit, just telling her about what I've been up to. Of course, I placed a barrier around us before that. You never know who could be listening in after all. Neither Oda nor I sensed any sort of listening devices, but I decided to err on the side of caution. Before I left, I placed some flowers and some spells that would keep the grave in peak condition, along with preventing any sort of vandalizing. It was also pretty weird seeing my own grave. As I was approaching the living room, Raiden appeared in front of me. "Welcome back, Master." I gave her a smile. "Thanks, Raiden." I sniffed slightly and smelled an appetizing aroma. "What are you making?" "It smells super good." She smiled at my praise. I wanted to try a more Western dish, but with the best ingredients, so I ordered an A5 wagyu steak for all three of us to try. According to the research I have done, it has amazing marbling, and the dish itself has no need for side dishes. What you are smelling is my test run. I wish to experience cooking the meat ahead of time so that I was prepared for when you wish to eat it, Master. My eyebrows raised in surprise. After all, who hasn't heard of A5 wagyu steak? It's one of the best possible meats you can try after all. They are all also notoriously expensive. A lot of meats in the cardinal world are to die for, but I'm curious about how A5 wagyu tastes like. I've never had the opportunity to try it after all. I see. I've always wanted to try that. Well, it smells amazing so far, so keep it up, I said, giving her a thumbs up. Yes, Master. Did you want any snacks before we eat dinner? No, I think I'm good, thanks though. It is my duty, Master, and one I do with joy. She curtsied. I know it is, Raiden. I truly lucked out finding you on that mountain that day. No, it is I who lucked out. Haha, well, we're both fortunate, I guess. Maybe Fortunate One guided me to her? I wonder how large of an influence this skill has had on my life. It may be a mere extra skill, but it is one that increases my fortuitous encounters along with my charisma and general luck. Welcome back, Master. I turned to where the voice came from and wasn't surprised to see Kurumi standing in the hallway. Hey Kurumi, I'm happy to be back. I missed you both. I noticed Raiden blushing in the corner of my vision, but I was surprised to see Kurumi gain a blush as well. I always thought she was the mature one, but it seems my good looks are truly too much. I missed you as well, my Master, haha, glad to hear it. So what have you been up to? I have been playing the game known as Smash. Has Kurumi become a gamer? No, it takes far more than mere days to earn that status. It must be earned through blood, sweat, and tears. Well, at least you're having fun. Kurumi nodded. I looked towards Raiden. How long until the food is ready? I did call her ahead of time, letting her know when I'd be back so that she could prepare everything ahead of time. It is ready whenever you wish to eat, Master. Oh. Well then, are you both fine with eating now? I've always wanted to try a wagyu steak, and it smells amazing. It's hard to resist. I am fine with whenever you wish to eat, Master, said Kurumi. Then I shall begin cooking the food. I nodded. Kurumi and I took our seats at the dining table and chatted about what we were doing all day while we waited for Raiden to finish cooking the steak. It didn't take long for the aroma to intensify, causing both Kurumi and I to salivate. I could already tell that this meal was going to be great. Soon enough, Raiden brought out 2 plates, each had a beautiful piece of meat on them. That looks great, Raiden, exclaimed Kurumi. Raiden set down a plate in front of me. Indeed, it does look amazing. Thank you, Master. She went back to the kitchen to get her plate, and then we finally began to dig in. And boy, was it delicious. The meat practically melted in my mouth. It was so fatty and juicy. It was seasoned with pretty simple spices as well, salt, pepper, and garlic powder. Truly, this meal was worth every penny. We all finished our food in less than 10 minutes. That was super good, Raiden. It's similar to some of the better meats from back in the Cardinal world. Indeed, I'm surprised that it was able to compare to the meat from our world. Nice job, Raiden. This wagyu meat was only matched by the meat of A-rank monsters. It costs far less than E-rank monster meat too. Though I usually have someone hunt the monsters rather than paying someone for the meat. Thank you, Master. And you too, Kurumi. Hey, Why am I just mentioned offhandedly? Raiden ignored Kurumi and took all of our dishes to the kitchen. Hey Raiden. I'm talking to you. Unfortunately Kurumi was still ignored. I gave her a head pat. There Kurumi, I'm sure Raiden appreciates your compliment, you're her friend after all. She's probably just pulling your leg. I noticed her 9 tails starting to wag slightly, isn't that a dog thing? Humphrey, she could at least seem more appreciative. Haha, well you know how she is. Indeed, anything not involving you she doesn't care much for. She does fulfill the cold maid trope, not caring for anything but their master. Anyways, have you been working on training your summons? We do have that training dimension I made the other day. Indeed I have been making use of the dimension you created. I improved our overall coordination which was lacking due to us not having fought together much in recent times. And I also experimented with my newer summons abilities. Nice. Kurumi has 8 summons, or rather tailed beasts as they each inhabit one of her tails. Each has a unique ability that Kurumi can make use of when they inhabit her tails, but when she summons them she loses a tail, along with some of her overall magic power. The white ape has wind and sound manipulation. The moon rabbit has gravity manipulation at a level far surpassing the unique grade weapon I made that specializes in gravity. Her black rats can spread a disease that causes a high fever, and black spots to appear on the infected person's skin. The disease is extremely deadly and can only be cured by the black rats themselves or high-level holy magic. The lightning tiger has lightning and thunder manipulation, but of course it can't hold a candle to Raiden. The winged serpent has atmospheric molecular control so it can lower oxygen levels along with some other things. The just sheep is capable of manipulating the mind as well as illusion manipulation. The fire flamingos have fire manipulation, and the mirror hound has mirror manipulation, which makes it capable of reflecting attacks back on the attacker, even skills. Of course I have named each of them further boosting their power along with Kurumi's as their power is added to hers when they are inhabiting her tails. When all of her tailed beasts are in her tails Kurumi is a fearsome foe with a variety of abilities thanks to her summons, and a ton of magic power. I should probably tell her about Hajime coming over tomorrow. By the way Kurumi I agreed for you to spar with that lightning guy from the day we first came to this world. I remember you agreed back then so Hajime will be showing up tomorrow to spar with you. Apparently he has an interesting technique that might help Raiden out, I hope you don't mind that. Kurumi shook her head, no, it is a pet's duty to obey her master. Well alright then. Notice. The individual known as Ronald has adapted and molded to his new body. The master can release him whenever he wishes. Alright, thanks Odin. Something just came up, it seems that the old man has finished adapting to his new body so I'm going to go to the yard and release him. Tell Raiden the same if she asks where I am. Kurumi nodded, yes master. The old man really took his time, he missed the time to eat the steak we just had as well. Poor old man. I teleported into the center of the dimension connected to the house we're staying at. I created this dimension when I was coming up with new magic spells the other day and didn't see a reason to get rid of the dimension just yet. We can use this dimension as a sort of training area after all. Neither Raiden, nor Kurumi are capable of breaking this dimension with the power they possess so they can go all out in here. Plus I can spar with the old man here, I'm sure he's going to want to get used to his new body. He molded it to perfectly fit him, but that doesn't automatically make him perfectly used to his new body. That'll come with time. I raised my hand. Beelzebub. A swirl of darkness appeared in front of my palm, and from inside it the old man was let out. I watched him do some stretches. It's nice to be out in the real world. I rolled my eyes, it's only been like a day and a half. Well it didn't feel like that. Wanna have a short spar to help you get used to your new body? I'll restrict my strength to that of an archdemon's for the duration of the spar, I don't want to beat you too quickly after all. I taunted. Getting cocky now eh? The old man responded. I'm strong enough to be as cocky as I want. You're right about that. Alright let's get this spar started. I waited for the old man to create a weapon using material creation before I attack, after all spatial severing is best used with a weapon. Spatial severing is a scary powerful skill, it basically damages the target via the severing of space. I may not use it much since I haven't needed to, but if used properly it can even harm a true dragon like Veldora since it can damage both physical and magical phenomena. Since I've restricted my strength to that of an archdemon's it's probably best to come up with a strategy. My durability is still as absurd as ever, and I don't really have a way to control that so it would be a bit unfair if I blocked one of his attacks with my bare arm, as that would shatter the sword he just made instantly. Swordsmanship it is. You ready old man? I say as I create a sword for me to use for the duration of this fight. It's been a while since I've wielded any weapon in a fight, usually my martial arts, skills, and magic is more than enough to best any foe. At least I don't have to worry about my skill with the sword degrading. Ready when you are, kid. I give him a nod and then appear in front of the old man with my sword slashing towards him. He blocks it relatively easily and counter-attacks with a jab of his own. We continued with this routine for half an hour. The old man was slowly getting more and more worn out as I've been enhancing the force of my attacks using gravity manipulation. We separated for a moment. The old man took the opportunity to say, "Ha. You've improved a lot, kid. I can barely match you, and that's when you're still restricting yourself." Of course I'm not going to let myself stagnate. I've been improving little by little. Even though I don't use weapons much, I do still occasionally spar with Rimuru using pure swordsmanship, and to be able to match that guy, you need to be good. Rimuru has been growing his swordsmanship at an astonishing pace, but I'm not complaining. After all, Odin has been copying every single move he uses and adapting it to my own style. So when he grows, I grow. Now how about I have a bit of fun? I may only have the strength of an archdemon, but that should be more than enough for what I'm about to do. This is a move that I saw Adra perform in a spar of his against Megaman. Of course she stomped him, but the attack itself was quite beautiful. The old man tenses up slightly, likely sensing what I'm about to do, but it's far too late. 100 petals rush. I charge at the old man, and slash at him in 100 different ways, each slash unseeable to even the best sword masters. The old man managed to block a few of my strikes, but he couldn't block them all, he just wasn't capable of it. 100 petals rush works by delivering 100 devastating strikes in a flash, quite simple but unblockable to most. I stood across from the old man as he stood there, seemingly shocked by what he just witnessed. I made sure to control my strength so all of my attacks that did land on him were only cuts at worst. That was amazing, kid. I lost. I've only seen one man do something similar, and even his didn't look as masterful as yours. I should probably tell him about Adra serving me, huh? Well, I can do that later. Haha, well, you didn't do too bad yourself. And that wasn't just empty praise. The old man was a master at the sword, someone I'm sure Hikaru would love to challenge. This spar has given me some new ideas that I'd like to try. What if instead of just 100 strikes, I do 1,000 or more? That would be extremely hard to manage in a short period of time, but I do like a challenge. And then what if I incorporate some other elements into it, like maybe coating my sword in Veldor's storm attribute, or what about stardust? Such an attack would be absolutely monstrous. I smirked as I thought of creating such an attack. Indeed, this spar was quite enjoyable. I may have only used an infinitesimal fraction of my true power, but that doesn't mean I didn't have fun. Now I only wish that I had someone that I could fight equally with just magic. A fight where we only utilize our magical knowledge, no skills, only pure magic. It would be fun to test my new magic against someone like that. Maybe in my next somewhat serious fight I should only utilize magic? That sounds fun. I'll have to think about it. I'd only feel comfortable doing such a thing where I'm certain that I won't lose. I shake my head. Oh well, those are thoughts for another time. I dissolve the sword I created into magicules and the old man does the same. Man, that was a fun spar. I got a few new things I discovered that I can work on. Fighting a superior opponent always helps one grow. He's not wrong about that. The old man's injuries were just about done healing, so he should be ready to go in now. Alright, you ready to go inside? I can explain exactly what I want you to watch over in this world. Yeah, let's go. He nodded. I grabbed his shoulder and teleported us back into the living room. Kurumi wasn't here anymore. It seems she's in her room playing more Smash. I should introduce her to some more games. Playing just Smash is bound to get boring at some point. It would be funny seeing her deal with Call of Duty lobbies. Welcome back, Master. And welcome back to you as well, Lord Ronald. I turned towards Raiden, who was in the hallway. She seemingly just finished cleaning up my room, seeing as she is right in front of it. Good to be back, lass. Looks like you just finished some of your work, eh? Yes, I was cleaning my master's room just before I sensed you two teleporting in. Hard working, huh? I decided to interrupt here. She's always like that. She doesn't even take any vacation if I don't order it. It is my duty and honor to serve as your full-time maid for as long as you wish. I would not be a good maid if I was not with my master at all times. Yeah, I know you've told me. I appreciate always having you around, so thanks. I noticed the slightest hint of red appear on Raiden's cheeks. It seems she is becoming resistant to my compliments. Thank you, Master. Ronald sent me a shit-eating grin, but I just rolled my eyes at him. I packed and sealed the meal for when you returned, Ronald-sama. Would you like it now? What a thoughtful girl. I would love to, thanks for that. It is no problem. Raiden then left to prepare the food she had stored safely, giving me time to explain some of the situation to the old man. Maybe he has some ideas that I haven't thought of? We both took seats across from each other. The old man looked eager to hear what I had planned, so I saw no reason to delay further. Alright, so let me give you a bit of background on this world first. He nodded. Indeed, that would be helpful. I snapped my fingers and created a barrier around us. I'll start with the basics. I'm sure you've sensed the energy around us by now, and I'm sure you've noticed that it isn't magicules. Indeed, it seems to be some sort of negative inclined energy. You're right, it's called cursed energy, and it is basically emitted from all humans when they feel any sort of negative emotion. I then went on to explain everything about this world: cursed energy, cursed spirits born from cursed energy, jujutsu sorcerers, innate techniques, domains, cursed tools, the politics involved in jujutsu society, and so on. Raiden stepped in during my explanation and gave the old man his food. It was no Aja steak, but it looked good. Raiden ended up sitting next to me and listening to my explanation, seeing as she doesn't know nearly as much about this world as I do, and Kurumi soon shifted into her fox form and took a seat in my lap. Those are some incredibly interesting abilities, especially those domain expansions you mentioned. The old man commented. Indeed, Master, such an ability could prove troublesome to even one such as I, depending on the sure hit attack's effects. Raiden seemed to be interested in domain expansions. There is a reason it is so rare for anyone to be capable of using it. Now that you know the basics about this world, let's talk about the people of importance. There is Gojo Satoru, the strongest sorcerer in the world, along with being my cousin. The old man's eyes widened in shock. Your cousin? I might have skipped past that. Yeah, I forgot to mention that this is the world I was in before reincarnating as a demon. Though I was a relatively normal human, I wasn't a jujutsu sorcerer. I wasn't even capable of seeing cursed spirits. The old man sighed. You gotta mention these things right off the bat, kid. Haha, yeah, my bad. I then went on to explain all the recent events I could recall, from the events of Season 1 of the anime, to where I left off on Satoru's ceiling. The old man didn't question why I knew what I did, probably assuming I learned in this world. Either that or he's just minding his own business. You never know with him. So this Yuji kid is the one that's going to be helping me for 10 years, huh? He asked. Well, he seems like a good kid, not many that are willing to help others to the extent that he has shown to be willing to do. Indeed, he's a bit too nice, but he's a good kid at heart. So what happened next? I'm not exactly sure what happened after Satoru's ceiling, but I do know a little bit. A bunch of sorcerers were killed, including Nanami. Mahito was killed, and Kenjaku, the person possessing Gito, used his cursed spirit manipulation to extract Mahito's technique, which fulfilled the requirements to begin the culling games. How come Kenjaku didn't absorb Mahito a long time ago? That's a good question. Basically, when a cursed spirit is absorbed by cursed manipulation, the spirit and their technique is no longer capable of growth, and until that point Mahito was not at the stage where Kenjaku needed him to be, so he left him temporarily. During Mahito's fight with Yuji and Todo, he had grown a significant amount. From what I heard, he sort of transcended being a mere cursed spirit. His understanding of his technique also increased significantly. I see, so after all that, Mahito was finally at the stage where Kenjaku needed him to be, huh? Basically a lamb raised for the slaughter, said the old man. Yup, shit had deserved it though. Anyways, Sukuna also ended up fighting the volcano special grade cursed spirit, Jogo. He ended up killing him in that fight. This Sukuna seems to be quite impressive. His technique allows him two useful abilities, cleave and dismantle, let alone his domain expansion. He commented. Indeed, he is considered the strongest on par with Satoru for a valid reason. Anyways, after Kenjaku began the culling games using Mahito's technique is when my knowledge becomes a bit more iffy. Learning every single thing that happened during the culling games is nigh impossible at this point since I wasn't there. But I believe that I know the key points. I retold all the events as I understood them. Most of this information was gained from talking to Yuji and Satoru, so it should be mostly correct. I told him about the general goal of the culling game, the important members like Kurasu, Higuruma the lawyer, Takaba the comedian. Boy, was the old man surprised when I told him about Takaba's technique. I told him about Maki's massacre of the Zenin clan, Yuji and Megumi meeting up and their first encounter with Kurasu, Sukuna possessing Megumi, and Meiharage's abilities. Sukuna killing Megumi's sister, and everything in between. When we got to the 1-month ceasefire that Satoru and Sukuna agreed to, the old man said, "You said you show up during that fight." Yup, I'll create an illusion of my point of view while I was watching that fight. That way you can see everything firsthand. The old man smirked. Hey, this is bound to be entertaining. Raiden nodded. Indeed, it was interesting watching a man with similar abilities to my master, though he was far lesser than master. Kurumi snorted, as if anyone could compare to the abilities of our master. Indeed, Kurumi. Raiden looked pleased. This is getting really embarrassing. They just had to do this in front of the old man? The old man was smirking my way, but I just created the illusion so that he doesn't get the time for his teasing. He focused on the fight, but I could tell he would mess with me about what just happened later. We all watched what I saw from the moment I entered this world. That adaptation ability is powerful. It's a good thing you were able to get your hands on it, huh? Indeed, it will only make me stronger. Being able to adapt to anything at all will be a godsend. It will be similar to my resist skills that make me basically immune to a bunch of things like elemental damage, physical attacks, poison, and a bunch of other stuff, and resist skills are incredibly broken. Well, maybe not in the cardinal world, seeing as there are a ton of busted skills, but in other worlds they would be incredible. Once we got to my entrance, the old man looked at me and said, "What a way to make an entrance, you show off." I tilted my head up at him. "I'm a demon lord, I have to make a memorable entrance, it's only proper." Raiden and Kurumi nodded along as if what I was saying was natural, and it totally, completely was. I definitely didn't just want to live out my chunny fantasies, no, that would be improper. The old man didn't look like he bought what I said for some inexplicable reason. He closed his eyes and shook his head. "Sure kid, sure." We got to the part where I basically manhandled Sukuna with explosion magic from Konosuba, and then replicated his cleave with battle will and aura alone. The illusion ended once I consumed Sukuna with Beelzebub. Well, that was an interesting introduction to this world. Now that I have the general gist of what's going on, what is it you plan to do with all this chaos? You said it would be interesting, so I'm listening. I smirked. He was going to like this. Raiden and Kurumi also looked extremely interested, which is only natural as I haven't shared my complete plan with them, only bits and pieces. Basically all the world's governments know about cursed energy. They are quite upset at Japan for hogging such an energy source, probably due to their delusions of cursed energy being the key to infinite energy. Morons. The only thing stopping an all-out war is Satoru, and probably me. Foreign governments are terrified of our prowess, so they are controlling themselves. Obviously I am eventually going to leave this world, and Satoru will eventually die. Oh? Do you want me to be what is stopping an all-out war? That sounds interesting, but not quite what you were hinting at. Ha. Nothing like that. So you know that the reason for the birth of Jujutsu sorcerers and cursed spirits is so high in Japan, right? Yeah, that barrier or whatever that guy Tenjin placed, right? Yup. So I plan to recreate those conditions all over the world. I already have all the magic figured out. Basically those kinds of conditions will cause the birth of sorcerers and cursed spirits all over the world at a rate far greater than before. If everyone has access to cursed energy just as freely as Japan, then they won't be able to worry about Japan anymore, as everyone has access to cursed energy. Countries are going to be panicking, trying to retain their power on the global stage. They won't have the capability to blame Japan for something they had no real part in. They'll be too busy worrying about themselves. On top of that, I plan to release dungeons with rewards people will be craving for to keep them occupied for a long time. It will be the coming of a new age. I stood up and spread my arms wide. Raiden and Kurumi began clapping, so I bowed. Thank you, thank you. The old man just looked shocked. He sighed. You know, you're batshit crazy, kid. Haha, being sane is for the weak and boring. Ugh, you really let the strength get to your head. Get to my head? Me? No, never. Well, I can't deny that it sounds fun. So what exactly do you want me to do? Nothing too hard, it's up to you how you go about this, but I want you to make sure nothing goes super out of control. There is bound to be chaos, but I don't want the world to end or anything. Wars might happen, it's a natural part of human nature after all. You're free to interfere whenever you feel it is necessary, and you can take whatever position you want. You can be a hidden mastermind or a global leader, whatever floats your boat. There shouldn't be anyone in this world capable of truly harming you except Satoru Gojo. And even then he would need to become quite a bit stronger than he currently is to even have a chance at that. I extended my hand. So what do you say? You in? The old man smirked as he grabbed my hand. Hell yeah, I'm kid. I've been sitting around too long anyways. I guess it's about time that I had a bit of fun. I explained some of the more minor details of my plan to him before I had Raiden show the old man to a room to hang out in and went to my room to prepare for bed. After some time I heard a knock on my door. Already knowing who it was, I opened it and smirked. I was met face to face with a blushing Raiden, so I did what any man would in my position. I grabbed her and pulled her in, which began our steamy session for tonight. I watched on as Kurumi's summons continued to push Hajime Kashimo on the defensive. I already replaced Hajime's vessel and called Ecchi to pick up the unconscious host. Apparently Kurumi wanted to improve their coordination with each other, which is the entire reason she agreed to this spar. We are all currently in the training dimension I made, well except the old man. He is wandering around and exploring. There is no risk of destroying things that I don't want to be destroyed since we're in this dimension, so that's good. Might as well use this dimension for what it was created for after all. Kurumi is only using 2 of her summons for this spar, and Kurumi herself is staying out of it. Any more than 2 and Hajime would be absolutely demolished. Even 2 seems to be quite tough for him, and that's when the summons aren't focusing on the offensive, they are more trying combo attacks and experimenting with new strategies. It's like I told Hajime when I first met him, if he chose to fight either Raiden or Kurumi he would basically be their chew toy, and that's what's happening here. Currently the summons that are fighting Hajime are the Mirror Hound and Just Sheep. A pretty decent combo as the Just Sheep can use an illusion to hide whatever attack the Mirror Hound sends back. Currently Hajime is in a sort of transformed state thanks to his technique. His technique is quite interesting. In fact I think I will have Odin edit Raiden's unique skill to include this function when we get back to the Cardinal World. Basically it allows him to reconstruct his flesh in order to manifest any phenomena that can be created by electricity. This has a cost however, Hajime's physique can't handle such a thing for long so he is limited by time, and if there is no healer around, he could even die. Of course Raiden won't have such a restriction if Odin is able to edit her skill to include these effects. She is a dragon after all, she can handle such a thing. Unfortunately that ability isn't enough to beat Kurumi's summons as they can just avoid his attacks at speeds Hajime can't follow. The summons might be considered quite weak for any of my direct subordinates, but they are bona fide calamity class monsters, not something that Hajime can take on should they get serious. I noticed Hajime gathering some energy in his hands, a good plan but unless it's at an extremely fast speed then the summons will just avoid it, or reflect it. I watch as he fires a beam of pure electricity, Mirror Hound jumps in front of the attack and absorbs it, but before it can fire it back Hajime collapses. Ah, that's it for me. Man I thought I'd at least be able to leave a dent with that attack. Just how much power can that hound hold? Ah, maybe he was hoping that Mirror Hound had a limit as to how much it could reflect, so he put everything he had into that last attack. Unfortunately for Hajime, he could never reach such a limit on his own. I approached the lying down Hajime. Happy now? Haha, that was great. Haven't had a fight where I've been put on the defensive for the entire match in so long. Good, then you can leave after I heal you. I aimed my palm in his direction and used holy magic to heal his body, no need to waste a potion after all. Haha, alright, I won't overstay my welcome. He stretched a bit and then looked at Kurumi. Thanks for bringing those guys out for me to have fun with. Indeed, my summons were able to learn a fair bit from this spar. At least Kurumi was able to achieve what she wanted to. Thanks for that Kurumi, I got to analyze his technique. It should help me improve Raiden's skill a bit. Raiden can already turn into lightning using her unique skill, but the data from Hajime's technique might be able to improve that ability, as she can only turn into lightning whereas Hajime's technique allows him to manifest any phenomena that can be created using electricity. Something that Raiden should be capable of with some training, but I might as well make it easier for her. After all, if you aren't cheating the system, then you aren't trying. Indeed, his use of his technique was quite similar to my own skill, if focused on a different aspect. I can do something similar on my own with some practice, but still thank you Kurumi. Said Raiden Humphrey, no problem, I was just doing what Master told me to do after all. Raiden nodded. Indeed, as you should. For some reason Kurumi pouted after hearing that. Was she being a tsundere with Raiden? I clapped my hands. Alright, let's head inside. They both nodded. Once we were inside I noticed that the old man was back. Wasn't he friends with Adra? I should probably tell him that Adra is serving me now, he might want to see him after all. I teleported to where I knew the old man was, walking is for plebs after all. The old man looked up from the book he was reading. Ah, hey kid. I waved. Sup, you just get back? Indeed, so much has changed. While I never saw Japan in person in my old life, I did know bits and pieces about it. All the modern technology, these phones have advanced an incredible amount. Everything is different. Yup, a bunch of new fun things. He nodded. So what did you need me for? I assume you didn't come talk to me just for that. Nah, you know that old friend of yours that you said taught you some swordsmanship, well he was one of the lieutenants of the Primordial of Yellow, so he's also serving me now if you want to see him. I named him Adra. Gaha, so that guy is serving you now huh? I guess it makes sense, he was always incredibly loyal to John so he would follow her to serve her master. Nah, I'm good, I don't need to see him, we'll see each other whenever we see each other. I'm sure he feels the same way. I shook my head, old people are weird. Alright then, have fun with your book. I've already given the old man the Frost unique blade so he could give it to whoever he wishes to, he's keeping it in his spatial storage. Seems like I'm almost done with everything I want to do in this world huh? I'll have to set everything up for my game then. Chapter 65, Return. I walked into the extremely high-end jewelry store, I got a call telling me my order was ready earlier today and decided to come pick it up as soon as possible so I can finish everything up in this world. I used Transform to shift my facial features slightly when I first ordered what I wanted, so I shifted back into that form while using some intention-based magic to make it so that no one noticed my transformation. I walked past the security guard and was met by the clerk. "Ah. Hello, sir. It's nice to see you again. Follow me right this way, I will get your orders for you." I nodded and followed him to the back of the store. There weren't all that many people in the store, and each person who was had someone helping them. This was one of the higher-end jewelry stores in Japan. They had jewelry that could go for hundreds of thousands of US dollars. And this was also where I had my custom-made gift for Lalatina made. It didn't take long for the clerk to come out with two fancy-looking jewelry boxes in his hands. He placed them on the table in front of me and slowly opened the one on the left to reveal a beautiful choker necklace that could also serve as a collar. It was made primarily from platinum, but it also had bits of gold and some diamonds on it. But what stood out front and center was the name tag, which read, Lalatina, property of Felix White. Yup, it's a collar that could also serve as a choker for Lalatina. I thought she would like something like this, what with her degenerate desires, though I guess I have turned into a degenerate for fulfilling and taking part in those desires. Oh well, if you can't beat them, join them. I will accept my degeneratehood. I'll enchant it with some magic to add some other effects onto it later on. But overall I was satisfied with it. The clerk then closed the box and slowly opened the one on the right to reveal a necklace with a diamond pendant attached to it. The chain itself was made of platinum, while the diamond was the highest quality the store had to offer and was 1 carat in weight. Some fancy ass shit, but oh well, Siko deserves it. I nodded at him, causing a smile to grow on his face. He went to go and properly package both the items while I went to look around the store. Maybe I should get something for Raiden? I safely stored all the jewelry in my stomach and teleported back home. I ended up getting a brooch for Raiden as well, while I got Kurumi a bracelet. They might be sad that I got stuff for everyone back home, but nothing for them even though they are here with me. Women are hard to understand, so it's always best to play it safe. I also picked up those fancy chocolates for Raiden to try later. I ended up spending a fuck ton of money on all the jewelry I got. Truly Sugar Daddy Satoru has my back. Maybe I'll give him something when I leave as thanks for making everything easy for me in this world. Once I was back home, in my room specifically, I could sense Satoru in the living room. It seemed he stopped by for something, and I think I know why. As I was walking to the living room, I was able to hear Satoru chatting with the old man. It seems like they get along. I turned the corner and saw both Satoru and the old man sitting across from each other. They both noticed me almost immediately, though I'm sure the old man sensed me long before, seeing as I wasn't concealing my presence completely. I was just preventing any of my magicules from leaking out of my body. It seems Raiden served them some tea and snacks. Raiden noticed my arrival immediately and approached me. "Welcome back, master." I gave her a nod. "Thanks, Raiden." Kurumi also showed up and jumped on my shoulder. I gave her a pet as Satoru stood up. "Ah, hey Felix. Sup, you come here for something?" I asked. He turned around and picked up a large case that he was keeping next to him. "Yup. Here's what you asked for, a minigun. You wouldn't believe the look that the Prime Minister had when I told him that you wanted a minigun. Here is the customized Desert Eagle. It was comparatively easier to get than the minigun." I smirked and took the case from his hand. "Ha. I bet, it's a pretty odd request after all. Ah, I forgot to mention, but are you trying to make me go broke? Do you know how much money you spent at that jewelry store?" "Haha, nope, I just know it was a bunch." He sighed. "I can't win with you. Hey, now you know what it's like for others when they are with you. It's just your karmic justice." I stored the case with the minigun inside of it in my stomach. I can enchant it to fire bullets made of magicules, and make it so each bullet blows up later. "Ah, that ability of yours sure is convenient. Being able to store anything sounds helpful." I nodded. "Indeed, I always have everything I need right here with me." The old man decided to interrupt. "You finish what you need to, kid?" I nodded. "Yup, I picked up everything I need, just that one last thing to do before I leave. I do want to head back to the Cardinal world sometime soon. I'm beginning to miss Milim's shenanigans, Rimuru easy to mess with personality, Veldor's chaotic personality, and of course Siko and her Seko-ness. Then there is Arcuaid, Megaman, and Lalatina, and of course Engvuld. I haven't spent much time with her, something I should definitely correct upon returning." Satoru had an odd expression on his face. "So you're leaving already? I knew you would leave eventually, but it hasn't been all that long since you've been here." I nodded. "Yup. I had a good time here, but I've got a ton of ideas for things I want to do back in the Cardinal world. This world was a vacation for me to relax in, and I was able to relax plenty. Besides, I can always come back if I want to. Hey, well, come see me before you leave then. I want to say don't do anything too crazy with this plan of yours, but I'm looking forward to what you do. This world could use some change. I assume this plan involves replacing Tenjin's barrier that draws cursed energy into Japan? I nodded. Yup. Look forward to it. Hey, I will. Satoru then looked at the old man. I'll be seeing you around. The old man nodded. I had Raiden escort Satoru out while I sat down and chatted with the old man. It seems you got along with Satoru quite well. Hey, he's a fun one. Quite arrogant too. Well, he is the honored one, haha. If that doesn't tell you everything you need to know, then nothing else will. Huh, he's just like you described him. So that's who I'll be working with for the foreseeable future, huh? Yup, just you two making sure the world doesn't go to shit. Well, at least it won't be boring with him around. It definitely won't be boring, even if it might take a few years for the true changes to become apparent. The old man nodded. Indeed, going by what you plan to do, it will take at least 15 to 20 years for the new Jujutsu sorcerers that will be born all over the world to become old enough to make any differences. Yeah, that's why if I do return to this world, it'll be after a few decades. Though I may pop in for a little bit in between. Hey, this time it'll be you leaving rather than me. I rolled my eyes. Don't be a baby, I'll pop in to take you to the Cardinal world sometime if you want. Maybe, I'll have to see how things go here first. I nodded as I got up. Alright, I'll be making my announcement explaining all the changes to the world soon. Got it, kid? Raiden had left to go prepare dinner while Kurumi is still on my shoulder. I better make sure I have everything that I wanted to do in this world done. I don't want to miss anything after all. Once I was in my room, I went through my memories, making sure I did everything necessary for my cough experiment in this world. I already have the crystals that will maintain the barrier I need to put around the world made and safely stored in my stomach. I already have the magic for everything figured out. I made the dungeons and hid the weapons. I do still have to put leaderboards in every major city, and then configure them so they can use data from the barrier to display the strongest people in this world. But I'm pretty sure I've got basically everything set up. I should be able to do it whenever I feel like. Maybe I should go around the world and show Raiden and Kurumi a bit more about this world. We've only stuck to Japan so far, so I might as well show them everything. That's what I'll do for the next few days, and then announcement time. It's been a few days since we left for our little sightseeing trip, and we're finally about to head back now. We ended up visiting mostly famous attractions. We obviously couldn't see all of Earth in a mere few days. We saw the Statue of Liberty, we went to Paris and saw the Eiffel Tower. Of course we ate some fancy-ass food in Paris, it's a mandatory part of the experience. We went and saw some pyramids in Egypt, along with the Himalayas. We went to the tallest building in the world, the Burj Khalifa in Dubai. We went to a bunch of places, and travel was incredibly easy since I could just teleport us around the world. No nation was going to bother us about teleporting into their nations either. Power makes everything a lot easier. I looked to my right. You two ready to go back? Yes, master. Raiden said. Well, Kurumi just gave a nod, so I snapped my fingers, teleporting all of us back to the place we are staying at in Japan. The old man chose not to come. He said he had time to explore everything on his own, and he didn't want to interrupt anything. I just rolled my eyes and left. Ah, that was an amazing trip, master. These humans can build some beautiful things even without magic. Kurumi said. Indeed, the mastery some of those chefs had over their food is also impressive. Of course Raiden focuses on the cooking. Girl is far too dedicated as my maid. She wants to make me the best food she literally can. Oh well, if it's what she enjoys, then who am I to stop her? Though in my opinion her food is far better. That might just be because of personal bias though. We also ended up doing some shopping. Raiden went to some fancy store in Paris. I'm not sure which one. I just gave her the credit card to do whatever with. But she returned with a few new made outfits she wanted to try out. They each have a bit of a different style. For example, one of them was super seductive. She also bought some other more modern clothes which looked absolutely ravishing on her. Alright, you two, start packing up whatever it is you want to take with you back to the Cardinal world, and I'll store it safely so it doesn't get damaged during the trip back. The two of them nodded and then went to pack up everything they wanted. I wasn't surprised when Raiden went to the kitchen. She probably wants to take some tools back with her. While they did that, I decided to fly past the upper atmosphere and further into the void of space. Everything looked so small from up here. Thankfully, I didn't need anything to sustain myself as a spiritual life form. That included oxygen. The Earth truly looks incredibly small from up here. It's astonishing to believe that over 8 billion people live on that tiny rock. It's even crazier to think I could probably destroy said tiny rock with a punch. Correct, the Master is capable of destroying the planet Earth with a punch. That's actually fucking absurd, especially when physical strength isn't my main focus. Though Satanael makes up for that, Milim and her busted ass skill. Still, without said busted skill I would likely be weaker than I am now, seeing as I have Satanael passively running at 40% since it doesn't take much wrath at all to use it at that level, and due to my mastery over it thanks to Odin. I noticed some satellites orbiting around the Earth. It looks like a bunch of nations are going to know I was up here. Oh well, they can't do shit about it. Hey Odin, could you analyze some of these satellites? Who knows if this information will prove useful in the future. Notice. Odin has already done so the moment that the master left Earth, as expected of you Odin. I turned to look at planet Earth's source of life, the sun. It would be funny if I blotted out the sun for a day. No I won't, that would probably fuck the Earth up a bunch. Correct. If the star known as the sun was blotted out for a day, after 8 minutes the last light from the sun would reach the Earth, plunging the entire planet into darkness. The temperature would drop, especially on the side of the planet facing away from the sun. Depending on how long the sun is blotted out for, photosynthesis may stop, which will affect the oxygen supply and food production for almost all life forms. And okay, that's enough Odin, I think I got the picture now. No blotting out the sun if I wish for life on Earth to remain the same-ish. Stupid intrusive thoughts. I turned back towards Earth and began doing what I came up here to do. I snapped my fingers, which didn't create any sound due to being in the void of space. Still, an invisible barrier was erected around the entire planet. I'm sure this would drain most beings completely dry of their magicules. Now for the crystals. I take all of the crystals I created and bind them to the barrier I just placed over Earth. Now it's time to place this halfway inside this dimension, and halfway outside. I focus on my power as this is something I haven't done before. I don't want to mess it up. Sure, Odin could do this herself, but I do want to know how my main skill works without her doing everything. She can tap in if it looks like I'm going to mess up. Skills are instinctual abilities. You don't need any training to use the skill itself, but if you want to master your skill you need to be comfortable with it. That means lots and lots of practicing. Ouroboros. Alright. Now that those are working properly I don't need to worry about maintaining the barrier. All that I have to do now is inform all the Earthlings of all the changes I made and create the leaderboards, which I'll do after I do that. I start heading back down towards Earth. Once I was within Earth's gravitational pull I stopped all of my flight abilities and just let myself fall. It was quite an interesting experience, just letting go and letting nature do its thing. Sometime later I deployed my wings so that I wouldn't crash into the ocean. I wasn't interested in swimming with the fishes today. I took my time flying back to Japan. As I was flying back I noticed a plane above me, so I flew up to say hi. I noticed a kid at the window seat who was staring at me, so I gave him a wave. The kid gave a slow wave back. He turned to his side, probably to tell his guardian about me, but unfortunately for him, by the time they looked I would be gone. It didn't take me long to get back to Japan. I still need to create the dungeon in Shibuya for the unique grade curse weapon I plan to have sealed there. I made myself invisible to the point where no one could detect me in this world except probably Satoru due to his 6 eyes. I don't want anyone to see where the dungeon is just yet after all. I looked down at Shibuya. The place is a wreck. Buildings are torn asunder, windows broken, vehicles laying around. This place looks like it went through an apocalypse, and it wouldn't be incorrect to say it did. Well, I might as well get started then. I mumbled. I touched down on the ground and used a combination of my abilities to dig out a massive underground complex. I made sure to fortify everything so that it wouldn't collapse in on itself. The dungeon was located about a mile underground. Though I did create a pathway connecting to the dungeon, one just needed to find the pathway. Once the layout was finished I really got to work. I smirked as I looked around my newly made dungeon, complete with traps, illusions, golems, and of course a ton of curses will be laid on whosoever enters this dungeon. Maybe I'll call it the Cursed Dungeon. I hid the cursed unique grade weapon at the end of the dungeon so whoever wants it needs to get through the entire dungeon, even with all the curses placed on them. I don't think many in this world are capable of that. Now that that's done I guess it's time to head back. By the time I was back it was night time. I guess I'll do my thing tomorrow, then we can leave this world. I woke up with a yawn. I turned to my side and noticed Raiden wasn't here with me. It seems she got up early, probably to wrap up some things seeing as we are leaving soon. After I came back yesterday I stored whatever it was that Raiden and Kurumi wanted to take back. I myself made sure to bring the Nintendo Switch and the TV back with us along with a few spare controllers so I could play with Rimuru, Milim and Veldora. I made sure to pick up some games other than Smash as well, like Mario Kart. I'm sure we can find a way to charge it once we're back in the Cardinal world. I'm sure that scientist of Rimuru's Vesta can figure something out. I also analyzed some solar panels so that will be enough to power the TV and the Switch at the very least. That dude is a genius, he can pull off some crazy-ass things. Surprisingly, Gabiru has been helping him with his research. Who knew that the Raiden simp would grow up? While we were on our little world tour, I had Odin analyze a bunch of the technology in this world, like the electrical towers, solar panels, windmills, and a bunch of other stuff. Suffice to say, I have everything needed to modernize the cardinal world, though I'll probably hold off on doing so. I'll leave the revolutionizing to Rimuru. That seems like a lot of work after all. I'm fine with keeping the modern comforts to myself. I am a selfish guy after all. I got up out of bed and began getting ready for the day. I plan to do my announcement today, so I should dress stylishly. A demon lord has to look nice in public after all. I plan to project the announcement all over the world, kind of like a video. They'll be able to see me and hear me talking. I think I should go for the classic demon lord look, a coat made with the skin of an archdragon, a black shirt underneath, and then some black pants. The all-black look fits me well after all. Hey, my coat became god grade over time as well. It has been sitting in my stomach soaking up my magicules, and I also upgraded it a bit with stardust. This thing could tank a nuke and be perfectly okay, perfect for a demon lord. Once I was finished getting ready, I heard a knock on my door. Already knowing who it was, I said, "Come in, Raiden." The door opened to reveal my beautiful dragon maid. She took a look at me and nodded. "You look amazing, master, as befitting of a demon lord." "You think so?" "That's the look I was going for." She nodded. "Indeed. To the normal people I'm sure you will give quite the intimidating image." "Well, that wasn't really the goal, but I am a demon lord, of course I'm going to be intimidating to the normies." "That's fine then." I left the room with Raiden in tow. "Did you make anything for breakfast?" "Yes, master. I decided to make something more simple since you said you would like a more homey dish once in a while. So I made a grilled cheese sandwich. I haven't had one of those in a long while." "I see, I look forward to trying it." The old man and Kurumi were already in the living room eating. "So I was the last one up then, huh?" I quickly finished up the grilled cheese Raiden made. "Alright, I'm going to finish some last-minute things and then announce everything to the world." "Yes, master." "Already time, huh, kid?" "Yup, I'll see you guys in a little bit." Once I left the house, I flew directly up. It would be pretty cool to project an image of me in space when I'm doing my announcement. I can easily deal with there being no way to really talk in the void of space since there is no medium for sound to travel through. I do have law domination and am an ultimate skill wielder after all. The laws of the world are mere suggestions at this point. I made sure there was a backdrop of the sun, just for style points. Once I was all ready, I began. I knew that public speaking class would come in handy someday. Gojo Satoru. Satoru stared at the image of Felix that popped up in the middle of the Tokyo Jujutsu school. Is he in space? Of course he can casually visit space. And is that the sun in the background? Hello Earthlings, it is I, your overlord, Demon Lord Felix White. Now you might be wondering why I am doing this. Well, it's safe to say there are going to be some changes in this world of yours, and I am gracious enough to explain them. Is he going to? Well, that's one way to bring change. So far the world hasn't completely bought into Jujutsu sorcerers being real. Some still doubt that fact. Of course most world governments know it to be true, but the common people are different. After all, they want to believe that everything is fine, that there aren't beings that are capable of extinguishing their lives with ease. It's a normal human reaction. As I'm sure most of you have realized, the world is changing. There are people with true power out there, not just political and financial, but real power. The power to destroy cities and even countries. There are some of you that doubt this, of course, but that's up to you. If you continue to doubt this after my announcement, then you will be left behind in this coming age. After all, I'm not going to put effort into convincing a bunch of randoms what's true and what's not. I'm just here to tell you what's going to be happening now. He felt his phone vibrate in his pocket. He checked who it was and wasn't surprised that it was Yoshinobu. He accepted the call. Satoru. What the hell is your friend doing? Hey, well, he's creating a new age it seems. Ugh, this isn't the way to do it. The world should be brought into the fold slowly, naturally. Not all at once. All that will cause is chaos. Did you know he was going to do this? Nope. Well, that was a bit of a white lie. He knew Felix would do something, just not what. I think chaos is what he is after. Yoshinobu sighed. Well, there isn't anything we can do about this now, is there? Nope. Where's this being played? So far we were able to figure out it is being played in Kyoto, Tokyo, even though it is still uninhabited. The island where all the citizens of Tokyo were evacuated to, it's playing all over Japan. Maybe even all over the world. I see, I'll talk to you later then. He then cut the call and focused back onto what Felix was saying. It seems he is explaining cursed energy and cursed spirits. Well, this is bound to be interesting. After Felix explained everything about their hidden world and his plans, he had to hide his shock. After all, what Felix claimed to have done was enormous. It would quite literally change the world, though that's probably what he was after. Felix claimed to have made it so that the optimal conditions for the birth of sorcerers was present all over the world. That meant Japan would no longer keep the monopoly on Jujutsu sorcerers as well as cursed spirits. They would be born all over the world now. With no real way to monitor and control all these sorcerers, there is going to be trouble. Thankfully, they have a couple of years before these changes start showing their effects. Long enough for him to establish some sort of organization that can monitor these sorcerers and send them to deal with cursed spirits. He was already working on something similar for Japan, as he wanted to change the system. He just needed to change his plans a bit to make it work for the entire planet rather than just Japan. And from his chat with Ronald, he knew he could count on his help in case things start to get a bit out of hand. Strong people are needed to maintain some form of order now that people have learned that it is possible to gain true tangible strength. And then there were those hidden weapons Felix talked about. Even the lowest ranking weapons, the special grade weapons as Felix called them, were incredibly useful. The ability to freely be able to use one elemental ability could come in handy in a pinch. The weapons kept getting more and more powerful as they ranked up. Apparently Felix placed 2 unique grade weapons in 2 different dungeons hidden throughout the world. Now where would he be placed on this leaderboard of Felix's? I think that turned out pretty good. I explained everything about this world that may have been kept hidden from the common people. Cursed energy, innate techniques, cursed spirits, sorcerers, the sorcerer families, everything. Once that was done, I explained the changes I made, from it being possible for sorcerers to be born all over the world, to cursed energy being far more present in other countries than it previously was, as it isn't all being sucked into Japan anymore. I also explained the new dungeons that I created along with the weapons I had. Now I only need to create the leaderboards, which shouldn't be difficult. I plan to put a couple in each country. I'm sure people will find a way to spread out the information on them, whether that's by having a 24/7 live stream on it or something else. Well, I might as well get that done now. I turned towards one of the sorcerers that were present at the Tokyo campus. Hey, do you know where Satoru is? He's in the classroom down the hall and to the right. Thanks. I'm here to say goodbye to Satoru since I plan to leave this world after this. Satoru said he would be here, so here I am. I walked into the classroom that the sorcerer told me to and was met with a bunch of shocked students, as well as a grinning Satoru. Ah, look who it is, the man of the hour. Or is it decade at this point? I gave him a nod. Satoru. I took a look at the students. There was Yuji, Megumi, Nobara, Maki, Toge, and Panda. I wonder why they're all here. I'm pretty sure they are in different years. Alright, give me a couple of minutes, my students. I have something to do. They didn't respond as they were still staring at me, but Satoru didn't care either way. Let's go to the roof. I nodded. Alright. I gave Yuji a wave as I was leaving, one that he returned. Isn't it a common trope to confess on the roof? If you plan to confess to me, I'm sorry to say that I'm not into other dudes. Huh? Satoru seemed confused for a moment before he broke down and fell to the floor in front of me. He began to bang his fists into the floor. Oh no. My plans have failed before they could even start? I snorted. Alright, let's get moving, Satoru. I wanna head back soon. He sighed. Couldn't let me have my fun, could you? He said as he got up off the floor. It seemed like it would take you a while. He pouted. It would have been good. I'm sure it would have. We continued talking like that until we got to the roof. Satoru unlocked the door for us and led me through. So how come all of your years are grouped together? I thought they each had different classes? I thought it was a good idea, seeing as the world is getting more chaotic, can get them more used to working with each other, and they are all around the same level seeing as they all grew a lot recently. I see. I assume Yuta is out doing special grade things? Yup. He's out on a mission right now. Got it. That's one hell of a thing you did. It's actually pretty funny. Most of the world is calling you a madman, which might be true. But they don't see the consequences of you not doing what you did. Either way, the world is going to change. Yup, that was my goal. I wonder where this change will take this world. I wonder too, will we thrive or fall? I patted him on the shoulder. Don't worry, I think everything will work out. Haha, you think I'm worrying? I'm excited. Who knows what sort of interesting people will be born all over the world. Maybe I'll meet someone similar to me? Someone who is born with the stars aligned in their favor. Maybe you will. You really were born a cheat, weren't you? You had limitless, and the 6 eyes, the perfect combination. Satoru smirked. Haha, that's why I'm the honored one. I rolled my eyes. Humble too. So you're leaving soon, huh? Yup, I've done everything I wanted to here, had a nice little vacation, but it's time to head back for me. I'll inevitably visit some other worlds, but I don't want to spend super long on each world. I don't want to become too involved with their affairs unless necessary. It's best to just let things happen naturally. Me visiting a world may doom it or save it. There is no way to predict what will happen once an outside influence like me interferes. That's not something I worry about though. Whatever happens happens. He leaned off the edge of the roof as he said, "This world being called a vacation really puts things into perspective." I wasn't really sure how to respond to that, so I just shrugged my shoulders. He turned around. "Welp, enough of that." He offered his hand and I took it. "It was nice meeting you, Felix. Make sure to stop by sometime." I smirked. "Of course I will. Hopefully when I return you won't be as weak as you are now." "Haha, you can count on that. By the way, tell Megumi that while his sister may be gone from his life, it doesn't necessarily mean she is gone. After all, I died and look what happened to me. If the kid could get a better outlook on life, I'm sure he'll go far." "I'll do that then, thanks for caring about him." "Good, by the way I made you these." I let go of his hand and chucked a box at him, a box that contained some brass knuckles that utilizes curse magic. Every hit that lands with those will cause his opponent to lose more and more energy. Figure out the effects on your own. I walked backwards, falling off the edge of the building. I gotta leave a stylish last impression after all. Gojo Satoru. Satoru didn't even bother checking if Felix was okay after walking off the building. He pocketed the box Felix gave him. He'll check it out later after his students are gone. It didn't take him long to see Felix fly back up and past the roof and into the sky. He shook his head. Show off. But he couldn't hide the smile on his face. Now he needed to finish setting up the agency, an agency that would monitor all sorcerers in the country and hold them all accountable for their actions. Without something like that, this world will turn into a lawless land in the blink of an eye. Now with most of the goodbyes out of the way, I guess it's time to head back to the Cardinal world. "Raiden, Kurami. Are you two ready?" I called out from the front of the house. Raiden showed up in front of me with a trail of lightning following behind her. Hopefully that didn't cause a ton of damage. Kurami wasn't far behind her. I turned towards Raiden. "We are both ready, Master." I saw Kurami was nodding, so that's that. "Alright, let me go see the old man and then we can leave. You two can wait outside, it shouldn't take too long." I ended up finding the old man in the living room reading a book. He was an avid reader back when he was alive, so he's been catching up on some literature. I told him to read some light novels at some point. I wish I was here to see his reaction to some of the more interesting ones. The old man looked up from his book. "So you leaving now?" "Yup, just stopping by to say goodbye." "Alright kid, don't worry about your little project here, I'll take care of it. Being back in the modern world is a plus too, so many things I missed." "Haha, well you're welcome for summoning you then." He rolled his eyes. Yeah, get out of here. You know you miss me. And remember to rely on Yuji." I yelled out as I was leaving. I made sure to destroy the training dimension I created. I don't want whoever lives here next to come across that. Raiden and Kurami were waiting where I told them to. "Anywhere you guys wanna stop by before we leave?" Raiden shook her head. "No master, I packed everything I need." Kurami jumped in. "I did as well. This world is fun, there are so many cool things here." I nodded. Indeed, modern technology has advanced an incredible amount without any angels attacking any nation that makes any sort of advancement. Seriously, those angels are the only reason the Cardinal world isn't nearly as modernized as it could be. They attack any and all sufficiently advanced kingdoms every 500 years. Shitty pigeons. "Alright, let's get going." I raised my hand in their direction. "Beelzebub." Now that they are safely stored in my stomach, we can leave. I took one last look at the place we stayed at. It was a fun vacation. At least I got to learn a bit more about this world and how it works. I may or may not have started the end of the world, but hey, it'll be fine. It would have happened with or without me anyway. At least we had fun. I'm definitely going to have to take Zuko, Arcuaid, Megaman, and Lalitina with me next time. Hopefully to a world that can at least withstand a fraction of their power. Welp, time to go. Ouroboros. I appeared in the conference room at the very moment I left. "Ah. Felix-sama, you have already returned it seems." I turned towards the voice and was met with my beautiful purple-haired Anna. I gave her a smile. "Yup, I'm back, Zuko." "Welcome back, my lord." I turned towards Arcuaid, who was bowing. "Haha, it feels kinda weird knowing it hasn't even been a moment for you, whereas for me it's been far longer than that." "Ha. Did you encounter any cool abilities?" I turned towards the explosion maniac in our group. "I didn't, but I did get you something that I think you'll like. I'll give it to you later. I haven't enchanted the minigun yet after all." "Ah, master, I am pleased that you have returned. Wasn't Lalitina in La La Land when I left?" How did she recover already? Hey, it's nice to see you too, Lalatina. Ah, master. Okay, I'm going to tune her out. This is not the time for horny. All of a sudden a voice resounded in my head. Extra skill, cleave gained. Extra skill, dismantle gained. Extra skill. Intrinsic skill, adapter gained. Mahahaha, unlimited power. Query. Would the master like for Odin to create a skill utilizing the data from Hirami Higorama's technique? Ah, that ability. Maybe hold off on it for now until we gather more data, Odin. I don't particularly need this urgently after all. I'd prefer if my ruler skill is top of the line when I get it. Acknowledged. Are you okay, Felix-sama? Ah, I probably had a weird expression on my face. Yup, perfectly good, Siko. In fact, better than good. Ah. I see, that's good. Did you have fun on your trip, Felix-sama? Yup, I met a few interesting people, and was even able to grow a little stronger from this trip. More than a little stronger actually, adapter is certifiably broken. Oh? Arcuaid seemed to be interested now. For there to be things in this world which could boost your already unmatched strength is quite incredible, my lord. I nodded. I didn't expect it either. Of course there was no one there able to match me, but some of the abilities there are incredible. I was able to analyze them and bring them to this world for me to utilize. I see, still quite impressive. I nodded. I didn't expect there to be an ability like adaptation there either. Let me release Raiden and Kurumi, then I'm going to head to the training ground to test out some of these new skills. I raised my hand and released those two from my stomach. Kurumi was the first to say something. Ah, it's nice being back. Raiden nodded, indeed. Hey, well, you guys can talk amongst yourself. I want to test these skills out. I haven't gotten any truly new skills in a long time, at least skills that I feel comfortable using, as I don't want to recreate a bunch of ultimate skills. I have a feeling my soul won't be able to handle all that strain. Once I heard their agreement, I teleported to the training ground. I got a bunch of new skills, though most I don't see myself using. Ever. Would the master like for Odin to convert the unneeded skills into energy to utilize in the future? Yeah, do that. You already know which skills I want to keep. Correct. It is done. Nice, now it's time to test out the goodies. Cleave remains the same. It's basically a slashing attack that adjusts itself depending on the target's toughness and the amount of magicules they possess. Of course, the tougher and stronger the target, the more magicules the attack will cost me. It has the same restriction of needing to touch the target as well. I can generally use this to one-shot any opponent below the awakened demon lord level. It is even capable of cutting through spiritual matter, so being a spiritual being will not save you from this. If one isn't capable of healing their spiritual body, then they are basically doomed, since Cleave will dice that right up. Dismantle is a ranged slashing attack that is primarily used to target inanimate objects, but I am also capable of adjusting it to attack living beings as well. And just like Sukuna, I am capable of targeting the world with it, basically severing space. This skill has the potential to grow into a far stronger skill, one that could theoretically cut connections between beings, like a soul corridor, or the soul itself. I plan to use Cleave and Dismantle for more casual fights where I am far above my opponent, one where I can mess around in. Cleave and Dismantle are fun abilities after all. I gained some other skills, but those were turned into energy, seeing as I don't plan to use them. I decided to not create a new unique skill with the data from Cook and the Comedian, as in the end it will just be a unique skill. I'd rather wait until I can create such a skill at the ultimate level. Then there is Adapter. Now boy is this busted. Rather than having the wheel that Mayhariga had, my skill works based on analysis. The more understanding of an ability I have, the more I adapt to it. This is a skill that works perfectly with Odin, seeing as she can analyze almost anything. In some cases it can even transform me slightly if that is the best way to adapt to something. Though Adapter is not capable of adapting to any ultimate skills, sadly, that would be far too broken to start out with. Maybe I can upgrade it over time? Is that possible, Odin? Answer. Inconclusive. It is theoretically possible to continue to enhance intrinsic skill, Adapter, but it would require an immense amount of energy. The only scenario in which the master successfully enhances Adapter is likely one in which the master himself undergoes an evolution. So it all routes back to evolution, huh? I need to evolve past a Devil Lord to get Adapter to the stage I want it to be. Once I am capable of adapting to even ultimate skills, I think it will be safe to say that I am basically unbeatable in this world. Well, that's only more motivation then. Now is Sukuna ready? Yes. Hey, well, it seems like I'll be getting a new butler soon. Chapter 66, Butler. Alright, everything ready, Odin? Yes, the individual known as Sukuna has been completely converted into a loyal subordinate. Ah, that sounds kinda like he was converted from one church to another. Well, I did technically brainwash him. Now let's meet my new butler. I released Sukuna from my stomach and was met with a pink-haired man. He looks pretty much exactly like he did after I separated him from Megumi, minus the extra arms and mouth though. Maybe he can freely make those disappear? That or Odin had something to do with it. He looked surprised for a moment before he caught sight of me, and boy was the look of absolute worship that appeared on his face off-putting. But I guess this is what I asked for, it will just take some getting used to. Ah. My lord, it is an honor to be in your presence once again. He said with a bow. Alright, it's probably best to think of this Sukuna as a different person, or I'm just going to keep weirding myself out. Ah, it's nice to see you too? Yes, it's nice to see you as well. He was still bowing. You can stop bowing now. Ah, you are truly magnanimous, my lord. He said as he straightened up. Eh? Yeah, let's go with that. I don't think it's necessary to ask him about what he thinks about me basically mind raping him. I'm sure Odin was thorough. So how do you feel? Stronger than before? Weaker? He looked thoughtful for a moment before saying, my body has been reconstructed to be far more durable and powerful than it previously was. My soul is also as complete as it's ever been due to the extra finger that was fed to me, but other than that my abilities remain the same. However, due to my new and improved body I can easily deal with any threats to you, my lord. Eh? Did you reconstruct his body and feed him that finger, Odin? Answer. In order to make the individual known as Sukuna as useful as possible for the master, Odin reconstructed his body using a combination of stardust, or alchemy, and the dispersed fragments of Maharuga. Due to the fragments of Maharuga used, Sukuna has a minor level of adaptation available to him. Along with that, imbuing his new body with the finger increased his overall affinity with the body and increased his own strength. Holy shit. That has to be that most busted shit I've ever heard. Well, maybe not the most busted, but still pretty high up there. Sukuna was straight up power leveled. It seems Sukuna's skeleton is made of alchemy which was saturated in stardust in my stomach, and then his muscles, organs, and skin tissue is created entirely out of magicules. So his body itself is quite similar to that of Megaman, and Lalitina's, though his is likely a fair bit stronger due to the stardust involved in its creation. Maybe around Arcuaid's own Deathman body. I should get those two some upgrades. Maybe I can saturate Megaman, and Lalitina's alchemy skeleton in stardust. Normally such a thing would be basically impossible as it may injure them, but with the perfect control of Odin it might be possible. What do you think, Odin? Answer. It is doable. Great. I can do that for them the next time I meet them. Well, that's good then. Now how about I give you a name? Ah. I would be most honored, my lord. He was known as Rayaman Sukuna, right? I name you Sukuna Rayaman. I felt a chunk of my magicules being drained before instantly filling up. That was more magicules than I thought it would take, almost as much as it took for me to name Arcuaid, Megaman, and Lalitina in fact. That shows how much potential this guy has. I guess the stardust body counts for something. I watched as a cocoon of magicules surrounded the newly named Sukuna. I could feel his power growing to levels that can only be surpassed by my direct subordinates, and even some of them would be a bit challenged. Unique skill, Cursed One has been analyzed. Ah, it seems like Sukuna got a unique skill. A powerful one too. The sub-skills include Cleave, Dismantle, though they seem to be upgraded compared to my own extra skill versions. Along with that he has Fire and Heat Manipulation as well as some new ones as well, like Thought Acceleration, Olive Creation, Enchant Annulment. Odin has modified the unique skill, Cursed One, to include more sub-skills than it originally would have due to the individual Sukuna being compatible with them. Ah, I see. That explains why a combat-oriented unique skill has so many sub-skills focused on analysis. The most interesting skill by far though is of a type I have never heard of, a world system skill. It seems these types of skills are similar to domain expansion, just far superior as these create basically miniature worlds that are imbued with certain skills. For example, Sukuna's world system skill, Malevolent Shrine, instantly cuts everything apart within its range as long as Sukuna wills it. It gets through all barriers and defenses. The only way to resist it is to have divinity, an ultimate skill, be a spiritual life form, or something on that level. It can theoretically even be used to cut more esoteric things like souls, memories, desires, possibly even skills. And this will only get more and more busted once it evolves into an ultimate skill. I don't doubt that Sukuna is capable of reaching that level. As expected of my new butler. Still, I never even knew about world system skills before this. I wonder what other ones are out there. Does anyone have one as part of an ultimate skill? Is Ramari's Small World considered a world system skill? Answer. It is very likely that Small World is a world system skill. Damn, no wonder it's so overpowered. Seeing as she is the original fairy queen, I'm sure hers is a top tier one. The cocoon of magicules around Sukuna slowly dispersed, only to reveal him in a black suit and tie, almost like a butler outfit. Huh, maybe my subconscious desires had an influence on that? His outfit looks quite similar to Diablo's in fact. From the aura Sukuna is giving off, I would put him right up there with my strongest subordinates. He was a little weaker, but he was fairly close. Though I did give him 2 names since I gave him a last name, so it makes sense that he can approach the power of my stronger subordinates. Hey, I bet Rimuru will be jealous. He descended down to the ground and gave me a bow. Thank you for your blessing, my lord. Ah, no problem, just make sure to work hard. From now on you will be my butler. I would be honored, my lord. He looked like he meant it too. I see, well then you can talk to Raiden about what exactly your duties will be. I'm sure they will overlap a fair bit with hers. She's the purple-haired dragon. I'm sure you will be able to tell her apart from her aura.